celebration begins. Off bounce. Punch your ticket. Keep on dancing. It's really the only word to describe it, right? It is March.
It is March.
March is madness. Virginia Tech, the story of the week.
We at the top of the mountain, baby. This is what we work for.
It's officially March Madness.
Welcome to Basketball Bonanza, powered by WebEx, by Cisco. We got a couch full of people.
Homies.
There's a lot of people in the house tonight. Christine Williamson, King McClure, Skubie Mageza, Jason Fitz, holding it down. Oh my gosh, it's March Madness. Things are getting crazy, guys. Already, my bracket is busted. We'll talk about that later, but it's getting a little wild. No?
I mean, it's good so far, right? Like, it's not totally crazy. Some of us are doing okay on the bracket so far.
Oh, really? Well,
I'm not.
Who's doing okay?
I'm going to be one of those people that's going to say, well, my other bracket has them winning, and well, this other bracket has them doing this. So,
wait, are you a multi-bracket guy?
I was going to say,
listen,
Fitz hates
you can't have an
multi-bracket
entree
guys.
without your sides. Is that what you do in life?
Yeah. No, you make one bracket.
Wait,
you roll with that one
you
bracket.
can't have an entree without your
I don't think
sides.
that's a good.
That's not how that works.
By the way,
Listen.
like, you go to a nice steakhouse and they just hand you the steak. You don't need any of the other junk.
That's not how that works, bro.
Listen, I'm a multiple bracket man.
Also,
Are
that's
they-
not what that saying means.
Like, are they all different? So, with every bracket, do you pick a different champion or like?
Oh, yeah, you can't have the same thing in every bracket. You got to switch it up. You got to have like a bracket where you get a little crazy. You know what I'm saying? You pick a little different matchups. Another one where it's predictable. Just have some fun with it. I want to get a bracket that at least hits like the majority of the
How many brackets did you fill out?
5.
Now, I may.
Well, you can fill up to 25 on ESPN Tournament Challenge.
Yeah, so I didn't even, so I didn't even fill out as much as they let you. But 5, that's not that bad. I know there's people out there that have filled out more than me.
If I have multiple brackets, there is a possibility that it's because by accident. Like when you have to fill out multiple, sometimes you're filling out and you're like, I don't remember who I had in this game.
Right.
But, you know, but my champion, like my essential bracket's always the same. But like, I don't, sometimes you
Like
sit
your
there.
final 4 is
Yeah.
typically consistent.
Yeah.
I'll tell you why I filled out 5. I'm in a league, you know, there's a bunch of bracket leagues.
Oh, there's
with
a reason.
Yeah, with like 30 people. And it's from my last station out in Iowa. So $5 for one bracket, fill out 3, there's 30 people. Brings my chances up more for winning money. That's the reason why I got 3. Come on, like you're just gonna do one bracket for that? There's money on the line.
so you
Increase my
paid-
chances.
If there's
it's like
money- if there's money on the line,
you're gonna buy 1 raffle ticket or 3.
So you paid $25 to do 5 brackets.
I did 3 in that one, and I did 1 for here and then 1 for another.
So when you walk up to the roulette table, you putting a little on a lot, or you putting a lot on a little? Because that's all a betting strategy. Like,
That's true.
Scooby, I get you. I get why you did it.
Dap me,
I feel
dap
you.
me.
I get why you did it.
How many brackets did you fill out?
I filled out 1, and I'm doing horrible.
fraud, you are afraid. You're saying, Scooby, I got you.
I
It's all
get
good.
why he did it, though.
You feel me?
I get it, but Iowa. I don't even want to talk about Iowa, but Iowa screwed up my whole bracket.
Oh my
Had them going to the Final Four.
Oh, no, really?
Yes,
okay,
really.
let's talk about that.
Had them going to the Final Four, and they messed up my whole bracket. So
Let's-
thank you, Iowa.
Let's talk about what happened in each region. We might as well. And let's start with let's talk about what happened yesterday, because Kentucky completely screwed my bracket. And then let's talk about what's happening today. We start in the West, okay?
Banging out west.
Yes, let's bang it out West. Yesterday when Gonzaga, or no, that's in the East. In the West, it's not Gonzaga. I feel like, okay, first of all, I just want everybody to know, I feel like I personally memorized the bracket. I didn't. So I actually don't know what I'm talking about. Let's start in the East then. Okay. All right, we got Gonzaga in the East. They played Georgia State, and it was a really, really a good game. I'm so happy that they pulled that one off. But did you expect everything to go as it went in this side of the bracket, King?
I absolutely didn't. For a second there, I thought Gonzaga was about to give us a little St. Peter's, Kentucky action. It looked like Gonzaga was struggling with
Okay.
these guys from
But
Georgia
why?
State.
Why? Like, that's what I got to figure
Wait, I need to
Okay.
clarify something really fast. I did memorize the bracket. This is the West. Go on.
So the question is, like, because I think everybody watched the panic, right? And,
Yeah.
and you look at it and you say, okay, now this all of a sudden personifies the stereotype that Gonzaga can't win at all because they struggled in the first round. So when you look at why they struggled, how in your mind, King, what's it mean for the next round against Memphis?
Yeah. Well, I think that's incorrect. I mean, you can't say just because they struggle with this inferior team in the first round, all of a sudden they're going to struggle in the second round. You can't say that. I mean, they took care of business. No matter how it got done, right? So they struggled in the first half. The game was close. Second half, they pulled away, did what a number 1 seed is supposed to do. They won by 20 plus. We can't say that. They'll be ready for Memphis. They're still a great team. They're going to perform. They're going to execute, and they'll beat Memphis.
That's what March is, right? You just don't know what's going to happen. And I think for Gonzaga, they were actually really fortunate that Georgia State had their best rebounder get hurt early on in that game, and he could no longer return.
But it was actually crazy because they were missing 2 of their top players, and they were still going at Gonzaga pretty heavy.
And they still kept coming in. But then it just turned into one of those situations where Gonzaga has so much depth on their roster that they can dig into the back of their bench, and they're good. I mean, Georgia State was putting out guys who have played 8 minutes all season. You know what I mean? So at that point, experience and play time.
What was the guy that had
heavy.
the freshman that had never played before, and he was he came from out of the country?
Yeah, that's who I was looking at.
Oh my goodness, loved that guy. Yes, Ma. I loved him so much. I will say he looked. I felt so bad because the first game that he was ever playing, the first minutes that he was ever getting was against Gonzaga.
Baptized.
And he just looked like, first of all, I will say, because I was texting Harry Lyles during this game, and he went to Georgia State, and we're going to talk to him very soon. But I will say that he said that he was actually very impressed that they were so fearless, right? They go in as a 16 seed, and they're playing Gonzaga. You have Chet Holmgren, who's over 7 feet, and they were just going at them. So I was really impressed with that, and so was Harry Lyles. We'll talk about, like I said, we'll talk to him about that later. But what were you going to say, Fitz?
No, I'm curious for your standpoint, because King played, obviously, in the NCAA tournament. Did you guys ever have a game when you were playing with Baylor that you walked out of and you're like, oh, hell, and then the next game came back like with a different level of fire or focus?
Yeah.
So my freshman year, we ended up losing to Yale. We were the 5 seed. Yale was the 12 seed. The whole thing happened. That's when Torian Prince hit the whole, this is what a rebound is. And it defined what a rebound
the ball,
was.
And then you bring it down.
That
was like one of my favorite moments ever.
That was also the same game that Rico Gathers and Torian Prince got into a fight. And I'm sitting in the middle of it on the court. I'm sitting in the middle of it trying to break it up between 2 6'7", 6'8" dudes who were almost twice my size as a young freshman. So
Who was getting buckets in that Yale game?
We're not going to talk about
the
that.
Yale set.
We're not going to talk about that.
He became your teammate.
Okay, Makai Mason. Who's a great player. He became my teammate. But we're not going to talk about that. We're not going to relive that, right? I have a point to this story.
Shout out to Makai Mason.
I have a point to this story.
About it.
So we lose, right? That next year, we become a 3 seed, and we're playing New Mexico State the first round. We struggle. We're down at halftime to New Mexico State. Everybody's panicking. Coaches are panicking. Players are panicking. We're saying this cannot be a repeat. But that next game, we play USC. And they had DeAnthony Melton. They had a few guys on their team who could really go. We handled business, took care of them. Now, we got smacked the next round in Sweet 16 in South Carolina. But we took care of business in the next round.
Eventually, Baylor became champions. It's perfectly fine.
Can we totally go off the rails for a second and figure out why the guys have this mountain of pillows between? Like, Christine and I have one pillow on each side.
I was looking at this, too. I'm like, King obviously wanted to get rid of this pillow.
Do you want a pillow between us?
I like King's neck pillow.
Are you jealous of the pillow, bit? I got you. Here you go.
Hook him up with a pillow, man. Come on.
Here's a pillow, bro.
Come on, man. Here you go, bro.
It's uncomfortable now.
Oh, sorry. You put that there specifically for that reason.
Gosh.
But I do think there's something to say about teams coming back after losses because this is exactly, I feel like I use this example when you're talking on bracketology or somewhere. I've been talking about this all the time. But when Georgia lost to Alabama in the SEC championship, everybody was like, oh no, Georgia isn't the best team in the country. But I feel like they took that loss and then they turned around and they were like, hey, we actually can't keep doing this. We want to win a national championship. And obviously they went on to win a national championship against a team that beat them in the SEC championship. So I feel like teams, especially like Gonzaga, when they play a team like Georgia State really close, it doesn't necessarily mean that they can't play, even though I was very nervous when I was watching that game that they can't play in the postseason. But I think it more means that they just need to get their heads out of their rear ends and realize that I feel like, especially, King, you can talk about this too, when you're as a very good team going up against a team that you really don't know that much about and you're just kind of like, it's a 16 seed, often you can go into that matchup not really thinking that that team can beat you, which can actually cause you to not play as well, correct?
Yeah, so to your point, coaches always say the hardest game to play is the first one.
Right.
Anytime you're in the tournament, the hardest game to play is the first one because you literally have to. That's the opening one. You have guys on your team. Rasir Bolton has never been to the NCAA tournament. He's on the team. Nimhard played behind Jalen Suggs last year. He's on the team. Now he's the starting point guard. Chet Holmgren's never been to the tournament.
Right.
A lot of these guys are new. So the first game in the tournament is the hardest one to play. So I'm not tripping. I'm not worried about Gonzaga in the next round. They will handle Memphis and Imani Bates and Jalen Duren. They will be okay.
Oh, that is
okay. But All right, so you brought up Chet Holmgren and guys like that needing to step up. And I think what this game does for guys like that and Drew Timme, it now wakes up a fire in them because they had to take over completely in this game. Chet Holmgren, 19 points, 17 rebounds, 6 blocks, 2 steals. That's insane. He filled up the stat sheet from start to beginning. And this is a guy, I said it before on bracketology.
Go on.
From start to beginning, it was perfect.
Because it ain't over yet. From start to end. But this is a guy who was touted as a high prospect. He stepped up and he played the way that they needed him to play. So now he's kind of got that experience in terms of taking over in the tournament. Wait, if it comes down to it, give me the rock. And I'll stay in the paint and I'll defend. So this is one of those games that can do that for a guy like that.
We've taken a look at the top half of the West bracket, but let's also take a look at the bottom half of the West bracket where Notre Dame has beaten Alabama at this point. Texas Tech has beaten Montana State. Not a big surprise on the Texas Tech portion of it, but you end up with that win by Notre Dame over Alabama.
Man.
They've gone from play-in to now. So a big result there, right?
I feel like I had Notre Dame winning this game.
Did you?
I think I did.
I did also, actually.
I think I had Notre Dame winning this game.
I don't believe you, Christine.
I do. Why?
I don't believe you.
You sounded real confident.
No, either I did or Fitz did. I don't know. I've been looking at both brackets.
I had Notre Dame.
I don't remember. Okay, so I don't remember because I don't remember. But I think I had Notre Dame winning that game.
Yeah.
Whatever. We'll figure it out.
But this is part of the conversation about play-ins because there's always this debate for play-ins on whether or not it should be at large schools or should it be small conference schools. How should they play it? Well, if you're a Notre Dame team that was worried about your spot in the tournament all the way up until the very last second, now you win the play-in. Now you beat Alabama. Like I think at this point you're riding hot and you take on a Texas Tech team that's not going to be an easy matchup. But let's be real, for Notre Dame at this point, they're playing with house money, right?
Oh, yeah, for sure. And Notre Dame is, to your point, you said that they're a hot team right now. They played really well in that play-in. They're coming into this game. They beat Alabama, a team where a lot of people had them going to the Sweet 16. I mean, they had all the weapons necessary in order to make a run in the NCAA tournament. Now Notre Dame gets that win, and it's like, oh, we have to start looking at this team a little bit different now. Is this the double-digit seed that's going to make noise in the NCAA tournament? How do you feel about Notre Dame?
Notre Dame basketball school.
Now, let's break that. Let's not ride the Notre Dame wave, right? Let's slow it down just a little bit because they beat a Rutgers team who is extremely good at home. But on the road or in neutral site games, they're not good, right? Then they beat an Alabama team who can beat anybody in the country, but can also lose to anybody in the country.
They
lost to Georgia. They're so inconsistent. Is this really an impressive win?
But somebody explained to me, and I've died on this hill over and over again, but basketball courts, it's not like a baseball field, right? Like baseball fields, I understand the massive home field advantage. Basketball courts are all the same size. The hoops are all the same. Like, why is there such a staggering difference home and away?
It is different.
It's got to be
you're
mental.
used to playing on your court. You have different fans. You have different people around you. If you're used to, I'm just talking from a volleyball perspective. You could go in some gyms and not be able to play. Also, spatial awareness when it comes to how far
bleachers
in volleyball, how far how wide and open the court is. The net looks a lot different. So I feel like everything it is different. It is different. And then also the other thing too is honestly it's all mental.
I was gonna say
that's the part that just surprises me because I think of kids being tougher and like kids. I'm the old man on the block, but I think of athletes being tougher and tougher and tougher mentally.
I think it's the opposite.
Really?
I honestly think it's the opposite because I think that there's so much pressure. This is one thing that I said during the football season. A lot of the players that were going into the season as Heisman favorites, they had a lot of expectations put on them. I think because of that expectation and because they so easily are able to see what the expectation is for them, they're able to interact with fans, they're able to interact with people around that they otherwise wouldn't be able to interact with before. I think it actually puts more pressure on them and causes them a little, I am a person that has anxiety. I think it causes them anxiety and that they're not able to perform at a level that they're expected to.
That's real. It's interesting and it makes a lot of sense because what I think of so often is kids now have a better understanding of their entrepreneurial worth and their value and who they are in name, image, likeness and how to stand up in the world. And I associate that at times with confidence, but it makes sense because that raises more pressure.
Yeah, there's more pressure because if somebody says, hey, these people just paid me $1 million to do something, and I haven't done anything yet, but they just gave me $1 million. Now I have to go out and perform to prove that I was worth that $1 million so that other people can give me $1 million, and then it's harder for them to perform. Whereas otherwise, they were just playing for their team, they're playing for their teammates, they're playing for the people around them, and they're representing the school as a whole, and that's literally it. That's all they're concerned about. And I feel like they felt a lot more team-oriented versus me-oriented.
That's you've changed my mind. Look at that. Christine has changed. I've always looked, I will die on the hill constantly of reevaluating my mindset on everything. You've made me think.
Yeah.
All right, so let's take a look at some of the bets because obviously we've got Duke about to tip off, and that's going to be, Duke has tipped off. They're already up 7-2. Quick update on that one. So we figured we'd have a little banter here.
Yeah, let's do it.
Are we gamblers? Are we big?
I'm not.
Bettors?
I'm not a
Throw down a
gambler.
little song.
You're not a gambler? What, because it's not gambling when you know?
I don't bet. I'm not a big bettor.
I literally just told y'all at the beginning of the show that I'm playing for money in a bracket.
That's
I feel like Scooby's the biggest gambler
Not a
up
real
there.
bet.
Scooby's over here he's got like a dark poker game that he's going through, like all sorts of cash.
You're the one from Vegas,
That is
so
true.
all right, come on.
All right, so we got Duke versus Cal State Fullerton. First half over under 68.5. All right, Scooby, where are you on that one?
I'm going under.
Under?
Yeah, I'm going under for that one. I think Duke will get the points, but the Titans won't.
That's a fair point. Like, that's what's difficult about over.
Duke will, yeah. So I don't think they'll be able to get the points to match up with Duke.
Anybody
You
passionate
said
about the
Duke
over?
will get the points, but what?
But the other team won't.
Okay.
Yeah, because if we got to hit 68.5, like even if Duke hits, 40,
which is huge in the half.
It'd have to be 40-29 at the half, and can Fullerton actually get that? That's a good question. Anybody passionate about the over?
Nah.
No, I'm taking the under. I'll take the under. For
Well,
sure.
and that speaks to the next one that we've got here, which is first half spread, and the first half spread on this is 10.5. I mean, right now it's 13-4, so we have a little bit of an unfair advantage. Like it's a couple of minutes in, and they're already running away with it. So, like, you feel good about 10.5, Christine?
Oh yeah, you got to take that 10.5. You got to
Yeah.
think that Duke team is going to come out this game.
You would hope.
Yeah.
You would hope.
You would hope, or they can come out there like Kentucky did yesterday.
I don't know.
With the
I
shoulder lean.
This Duke team, when they don't have pressure, they're different. Like that speaks to what Christine was talking about a minute ago. Like I think this first round matchup, it provides them a lot of opportunity to go out and kick the snot out of somebody.
Right.
In the next round, if they end up taking on Michigan State, and let's see how that goes. Michigan State, Davidson, going to be a tight game. But if they take on Michigan State, that brings inherent pressure because now you got Izzo versus Coach K. Is it the last game for Coach K? Like in a world of pressure, which Duke hasn't handled well, I think the next round gets tricky.
I think pressure, and to what you guys were talking about earlier, is all going to end up lying on how does the coach get the team to settle down. If you have a great coach that can get you to refocus and put your attention on the right things, then all that outside noise is going to simmer down. So I think Coach K is a coach who can handle that. That last game that they had on their home court, there was just so much going on that Coach K couldn't even handle the pressure. But now they're in a different environment. It's going to depend on him to really simmer down the boys, and I think he's got them in that mindset.
We see the first half spread, 10.5. Anybody taking the under?
No.
No.
No, we're all taking the over. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll give you the easiest bet in the world. First to 20.
Duke.
Score right now is 15-4. Say 15-4.
Cal, the comeback.
Yeah, you got that.
What are the odds on the?
You got it.
Anybody passionate on a leading scorer in the first half?
Bancaro.
I mean, Bancaro.
I mean, I feel like that's the easy option.
Yeah, I mean the game
right.
started. So I
AJ
can't look at
Griffin.
it. I like that one. I'll go.
I go Wendell Moore.
Okay.
Just because?
Just Wendell Moore because I want to be different.
Well, I mean,
different.
I like. See, I'm with Christine.
I mean, AJ Griffin had that. What was it? A 12-point run when they were playing Miami. So yeah, I'm gonna go with that.
He's caught a lot of hot streaks this year for them and been probably one of their more consistent scorers at times. So I think I like AJ Griffin for sure.
They weren't playing Miami. I don't remember who they were playing in the ACC championship.
I think early in these games, like you go to your stars. That's all I'm saying. So like Bancaro makes a lot of sense. It's like in high school when they're like, you got to show your math. I don't know if I'm right or wrong, but I feel like my math makes sense when I show it. I'm like, hey, this is how I got to the answer. Let's go to the next game. We got LSU taking on Iowa State, number 6 seed versus number 11 seed. This one, a hotly contested one for a lot of the people looking at their brackets. So we'll do the first exercise. First half, over under 59.5. Anybody passionate on the under?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Very passionate about the
First
under.
half.
Oh, yeah.
I think points will be at a premium. I mean, both these teams play great defense. Iowa State locks down LSU locks down. They don't really have too many offensive weapons. For Iowa State, it's Brockington.
Yeah.
For LSU, it's Darius Days. Xavier Pinson sometimes can contribute some buckets. Tari Eason will probably be a top 15 pick.
Yeah.
But offense comes at a premium in this game. If you like offense, do not watch this game. This is strictly defense. I'm going with the under. Fitz.
Under.
You know those when you're at the YMCA and teams are just kind of turning the ball over, going up and down the court?
Yeah.
That's how I think this game is going to start off. A game that was kind of like that was the Loyola Chicago and Ohio State game. I don't know if you guys saw that. There was a stretch for 8 minutes where Loyola didn't get a bucket. So this is another matchup between two teams who were great at stealing the ball, great at defense, and aren't that good at shooting the ball. So, yeah, give me the under.
Aren't good at all.
And that's a little bit of my methodology in general when we're talking about over-unders in the NCAA tournament. Because there's so much uncertainty in a lot of these matchups, everybody's feeling each other out. Plus, you've got the whole, trying feeling out the pressure of being in the tournament. I think the under feels like a safer bet most of the time. It's just everybody's on a little bit of wobbly legs early on in the tournament, especially with 6-11 matchup. So this one's supposed to be a close game. First half spread, 2. Do we think it's going to be so close that the first half spread is 2? Over, under on that one? I think there's a good chance this game's close. So it's easy for me to say under, but 2 is tight.
2 is super tight.
I'm going under. I think it'll be tied or a 1-point game. Yeah, I think it'll be tied or a 1-point game.
I think I'm going to go with that, too. I think I'm going to go with under, too, because I feel like it could be a 1-point game.
Scooby, how do you feel?
Well, I want to be different, and I feel like Vegas is one of them ones where they're gonna hit like a 3-pointer right before halftime, and it's gonna be 3 instead of 2.
It could still be 1.
No, they'll hit a 3-pointer, and the 3-pointer is gonna put them up 3.
Oh, I was like, that could still be 1.
No.
I mean, Scooby's not wrong. They don't build those big, beautiful casinos by not hedging both sides of that bet. So, I'll go over just because it feels like 2 is such there's such limited action.
Yeah, exactly.
Here's the other thing, though, that I am going to acknowledge is that in the first half is usually when teams are playing kind of, especially if they are evenly matched, extremely evenly matched. Second half is usually when they pull away, right? So I'm going to go under because this is going to be a closer matchup in the first half, I feel like.
So first to 20, LSU or Iowa State? First to 20.
I'm going LSU. I think LSU has more scores. Talk about Darius Days, Pinson, Tari Eason. Iowa State really only has Brockington and whoever else wants to contribute for the night. So I'm going with LSU.
I'm going to go with LSU, but stop going before me.
We'll go to Christine first.
You should see Christine making faces. When King was talking, she was like, he just took my answer. But I'm going to go with you on LSU. I think they're the team that definitely has the firepower to get to 21st, but they're going to be right there with them.
I got to go Iowa State. And the same reason I went Iowa State in this matchup, it's not because you're right, King, when it comes to scores. I trust if I'm just looking at the guys, if we're playing the video game version, I'm going LSU all day. Coaching has to matter, and it feels like coaching matters in the NCAA tournament. And there's no Will Wade. And for anyone, obviously, that hasn't paid attention, it took a long time for the bribery scandal to finally have repercussions.
Yeah.
It did as a result. Will Wade's not going to be there. And to me, when I'm looking at a particularly close matchup where I got to get everybody settled down quickly in the NCAA tournament, I get really nervous at the concept of not having my normal head coach that's been my voice in my ear all year. So for me, I'll go Iowa State. Now, first half leading score, is there anybody that we think could go off on this one early?
I mean, the leading scorer in general, I'm going to say Tari Eason.
I like that call. I think
I'm going Darius Days. I don't think Iowa State has anybody down low to match up, especially when they put Kuntz at the 5. And Darius Days, Kuntz can't guard Darius Days, so I think Darius Days starts off hot.
I like Isaiah Brockington. He already leads the team in scoring. We always say it's about the guard play, right? The guards are going to be the ones who are going to determine whether your team is going to be successful in the tournament. They're going to lean on that in a game where the ball is probably going to be turned over a lot, and he's just going to have to get a scrambled ball, go to the hoop, and toss something up. Get me a bucket. Yeah.
What was that again, Shomari?
I have no idea what just happened.
This is him going through the lane.
You know what, Scooby, I'm going to agree with you on that one completely. But
Fitz hit the most stiff jiggle ever.
I would love to see you play basketball.
Hey, Fitz was moving like a robot.
I just want to see it.
I am living, breathing proof that you can have incredible rhythm and not be able to dance. They're very different things, okay? I can subdivide
Hold on. Give me a 10-second reason why.
I can subdivide a beat all day long. If the rhythm is this, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? I can do that all day long. I can get my body to do what he's like, doing I ain't got none of that.
So you know the beat, you just don't know how to hit it.
No, I know how to hit a beat.
Not with your body.
Yeah, not with my body. No, my body, but nobody should see that. Ever. All right, first, but I'm going to do the if this, then that, So, like, if I'm saying that Iowa State's going to come out, well, then it has to be Brockington. So, like, it's just making the parlay make sense.
That's what I did. It has to be a LSU player if I'm going to choose LSU. So I'm going to choose the leading scorer on LSU's team.
Nah, I like that. All right, let's go next. This game could turn ugly quickly. Wright State, 16 seed, taking on number 1 Arizona. Obviously, I say it could turn ugly, but we just saw the Zags struggle last night. So first half over under 74. Ooh. 74, which
first half.
That's a high.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, we had 68.5 for Duke. We have 59.5 for LSU, Iowa State. This one is 74 for the first half over under.
Disrespectful.
For real.
I'm going to go under. That is so disrespectful.
I'm going under as well. It's disrespectful.
I wanna go under, but what does Vegas know? Why is it so high?
But
That is true. In the back of my mind, I'm like, does Vegas know something?
Yeah, Vegas knows Wright State can't stop Arizona. Go ahead.
I was going to say in the women's tournament, that's what South Carolina did today. Woo.
Oh,
my goodness, that was brutal.
No, it was beautiful. Like, that was like,
beautiful.
South Carolina was putting on a clinic, and I just sat
That
there.
is not beautiful.
It's beautiful.
What they did to those girls, that's not beautiful.
No, watching beautiful basketball
You're just thinking about, like, as a team going into the tournament, the last thing that you want to do is get absolutely pulverized. Yes, that is very sad.
Man.
However, it was a great
So I'm gonna go the under too, just because it's a outrageously high number. But the first half spread 11.5. Again, it's a big spread. So I mean, but also, I mean, putting all this together, I'm not sure Wright State can score enough. If we think we're going to get to 74, what you think they're going to stay within 12? Like, this feels like Arizona, to me, is going to roll.
I feel like Arizona are probably going to put between like 40 and 53 or something or 55. They have that capability to just go next level in this first half. But to your point, just like we said in the other one, Wright State, are you going to be able to keep up in the bucket category? I don't think so.
I mean,
under for me.
What I will say is Arizona is a top 5 team in the country when it comes to tempo. So they push the ball, they get out and run, and they want to get quick shots. And on the defensive end, Christian Koloko, one of the best shot blockers in the country, and Benedict Mathurin, you know what he can do.
Right.
Absolute hooper. So I'm taking the over.
All right.
Oh, you switched up on us. I thought you were going under.
I'm taking the over.
I'm telling you, Vegas knows something. Vegas knows something.
Wait, the only reason I'm making that face right now is because I forgot that somebody's winning something. So now I'm nervous.
Oh, wait, we're betting.
I don't know. I think it's just like a prize of like, you get it.
There was a long conversation about punishments and prizes, and nothing was determined. So if we don't like the punishment or the prize, then...
I'm sorry. I know King just played with me. They said, do you want a pie in your face? Do you want juice poured on you? What was the other thing?
Oh, there was a TikTok dance video that was thrown out by somebody at this...
You were the one that didn't want to do that.
Fitz didn't want to do that.
I don't want to be defaced. I just don't want anything like happening to this masterpiece. So I was like, nah, we good. Exactly.
Fitz just didn't
Our
want to
producer
dance.
Chloe just said, you got to protect the moneymaker, and that's all I'm about, okay?
I've been memed enough as an idiot. I don't need the world getting the dance meme, too. All right. So first to 20, Arizona or Wright State? Who do we have here? First to 20.
Arizona.
I think
Arizona.
The better bet would be like, can Arizona get to can Wright State get to 4 before Arizona gets to 20? I think first half.
That'd be really ridiculous, but yes.
Now, anybody standing out as a first half leading scorers, or somebody you love in this one to go off?
I'm going Benedict Mathurin.
I knew you guys say that.
I just got to go because I love Benedict Mathurin. I love his game. I love what he brings to the table. I'm going Benedict Mathurin.
Anybody?
I don't disagree.
Okay, I think.
Mathurin it is. He's going to be doing some math.
Yeah, you can tell we're all scared now that somebody's going to get the bet wrong because we're all just going to agree with each other. I tried to do the worm once on stage in the middle of a concert, and I'd never tried the worm before, and I was like, you know what?
Is that what the loser should do, the worm?
No.
No.
I'm also not getting on the ground.
I walk out to the edge of the stage.
Right.
I hand my fiddle off to somebody, and I'm like, all right. They were introducing me. I decided I was going to do the worm. I realized in that moment the worm is much more difficult than I thought it was.
It is.
It came across more like a push-up where I landed face first in front of like 30,000 people. I don't need to do that again. So, that's my
That's
dancing.
embarrassing. I'm sorry that happened to you.
Yeah, the worm does require some, like, flow, you know what I mean? You can't just... I would love to see it again.
All right, thank you so much. All right, we think we found our formula for success for tonight's bet, but for teams in the tournament, we'll let those that are playing tell you the keys to winning it all.
There's no one formula, but no one's getting to the Final Four without good players and some luck.
The preparation you do before the tournament, whatever work you put in before that will show up in the most difficult situations.
You've got to be able to get hot towards the end of the year.
Teams that can make a team play bad is sometimes more important than you actually playing well.
Teams that really love each other, they're great teammates. So when it looks bleak, that group will keep going.
All right, it's time to go beyond the bracket, powered by WebEx, by Cisco. We have this amazing board here.
Oh, no, we have amazing pens because this is going to be like art class. I get to draw on things. We'll see where it goes. I can't even draw inside the lines, but pull up your bracket.
You can't draw. We already saw that on the bracketology show.
Wow.
Okay, we're going to start with our brackets, and we start at the top. I'm going to do the West.
Okay.
You can do the South, but I just want to talk about two matchups here. First of all, Gonzaga.
Okay.
Gave me a heart attack yesterday. I love Harry Lyles. So glad that they played well, but this matchup gave me an entire heart attack. Almost thought Gonzaga was going to lose this one, even though they pulled away at the half, right? I'm just more concerned because I have them winning the entire thing, and that just didn't look good.
Okay, of concern at one point in this game, they were being outscored on second chance points in the paint 16-5. That's not good early on in this.
The other thing, too, Georgia State was shooting 29% at the half. They weren't even playing well.
Also,
so
we should never play charades together if that equals heart attack. I'm just...
It looks like a heart attack. This is the other one. I only chose this one specifically because Jay Billis told me to choose upsets like this. If you don't think that this team, either team is going to come out of this next bracket, then you should choose the upset. However, I got both of these wrong, so whatever. I just got all that wrong. All right, let's look at Fitz's.
Okay, that feels kind of painful at this point. So let's take a look here. I will pull my bracket up, and I will start at the top. You said, yeah, we'll start. Oh, whoops, here we go. We're going to start, get me unsquiggled so I can scroll down.
Delete.
And then we will, oh, yeah, there we go. And we will get me in on the south. Now, by the way, I talked to Billis the other day, and he said, it should be noted that if he could predict all the games right, he'd live in Vegas. So, I'm just saying, maybe don't listen to Billis. On this side, things went really well for me. I got this right, I got this right, I got this right, and this right here. Everybody fell in love with Sister Jean, and I understand it. She's very lovable, but at the end of the day, Ohio State better basketball team. That is what matters here. I took a little Big Ten love in that, and glossed over this one on this side, by the way. I should mention, this is not good for me for a minute. I had UConn going much farther than I should have.
That's rough.
A little biased
That's
there.
rough. All right, let's go to the bottom of the bracket. Okay. Because this is actually one of my favorite parts of the bracket. I'm not exactly sure why. Maybe because I'm a Big 12 person and I like Baylor and I like Texas, all those places, whatever. Anyways. Obviously, I have Baylor coming out of this matchup. I had Marquette coming out of this matchup because I'm a Shaka Smart fan, and I wanted him to get at least one win in the NCAA tournament. He hasn't had that. He's been with Texas before, hasn't won. Had faith in Marquette. It didn't work out. I don't want to talk about this. Nobody talk about this. Nobody talk about this. Nobody talk about this. They are in my Final Four. It ruins my entire bracket. What do you got, Fitz?
Well, I love how you just glossed right over. What was the ESPN said earlier today? 17 million brackets, and after one day, only like 750 of them were still intact because of that game. You look on this side. It didn't go that poorly for me. I feel pretty good about this. I knew I was going to be working with you, so I took Miami.
Obviously,
I'm not
Canes
stupid.
All day.
But I do have them losing in the next round to Auburn. This one tripped me up a little bit, though. Iowa being the disappointment. I just gave Ohio State a little love, but Iowa reminded us that the Big Ten is maddeningly inconsistent, which is a problem for me because I had Iowa going too far. I am saved a little bit here, though, because I have Kentucky losing to Purdue. So all of a sudden, that saves me the opportunity.
In this situation, you want it to be Purdue.
Yeah, well, I mean, I have no faith in my bracket. None whatsoever.
Okay. I think we have a friend that we can phone really fast. Scooby.
Phone a friend? It's like the game show?
Exactly.
Oh, Scooby, join in.
Hello? Yeah, tell him I want the deal for $5 million.
Anyway.
$5 million. Okay.
$5 million.
Scooby's going to walk us through a matchup that he is excited about specifically.
Hopefully Scooby's my agent, but those are...
You're talking about this Duke-Cal Fullerton matchup, right? That's the one that you're looking at?
Oh, yeah, definitely. And look at that matchup. For anyone that's a betting person coming into this game, that had the highest spread out of any game. So Vegas thinks that Duke is going to smack this team. And I do too. So I'm taking Duke as the winner in this game. You know, the thing that we've all talked about with Duke is, do they have that much pressure on them going into this tournament? Yeah. They have a lot of pressure because it's Coach K's final game, but they won't have as much pressure as that last game they played at their home court, because it doesn't get any higher than that. So I think they are able to advance in this game. I don't know how you guys feel about the upset, but the potential of an upset is here with a team like this one that really has nothing to lose and doesn't have pressure on them.
The upset comes in the next round. That Michigan State I like Michigan State to beat Davidson, and I think Michigan State it could have a heck of an opportunity with Duke. That's where it gets weird.
All right, Scoop, let's go to the other side of the bracket and something that you're excited about.
Christine's like an expert on this thing. Like, she is crushing all of this.
I invented it. Can you touch that for us?
She said I invented
it. She even let me touch the screen there, which is a daring risk for somebody my age. So now I'm dropping pens. Don't mind me.
Scooby, what matchup are you excited about on this side of the bracket?
All right, we're going to look at this one right over here. LSU and ISU. For those that don't know, I used to live out in Iowa.
Oh, yeah.
So I used to communicate. I used to have their corn. Christine, tell me what corn is in Iowa for. You know this.
Both. All kinds of corn are in Iowa.
No, what do they use corn for?
Everything. It's all corn.
Listen, they use corn for Busch Light, and they use it for gas for their cars. Everyone thinks it's corn that you eat, but that was just a fun fact for those that don't know about corn.
They also eat corn from Iowa.
Yeah, but I'm saying they use the corn mainly for those things.
Did you see the Busch Light cases that had the corn on the side? Went back there. Go ahead.
My winner for this game is going to be LSU.
What?
And listen, let me finish talking, good sir. This team started off the year 12-0, right? I think that's what it was. They started off really hot, and of course it was with their now former head coach, Mr. Wade, who got caught for doing some bad things. But LSU is still a team that has had some huge quadrant one wins. I saw their win against Tennessee. I thought that was really impressive. That's one of the teams that I think will do really well in the tournament. And having lived out in Iowa, I have seen what this team does to their fan base, and that's disappoint them consistently. And having seen that disappointment already from the Iowa Hawkeyes, I did not want to bet on two Iowa teams to win it when I have seen both of their teams get disappointed all over and over again. Now, other people will look over here and think that there's a potential upset with Colgate and Wisconsin, but I like Wisconsin to win that one.
It's actually Wisconsin. I just am a little disappointed that you didn't say anything about it.
What did we draw?
I'm just saying it with Ebonics, the way that I want.
Why are you?
Anyways.
You're making it about Miami. I mean, all I'm saying, you drew the wrong thing. It's all about dollar signs. I was still drawing my dollar signs. Because let's remember, LSU.
This conversation,
I'm just saying.
Automatically goes to Miami.
I'm just saying.
Anyways, thanks, Scooby, for your insight.
Thank you.
All right, let's take a look at some of the action in progress. Look at this. Chattanooga.
That's what I like to see. I love this. Sylvia De Sousa versus Kofi Coburn. Oh.
Look at this. I mean, this is
Chattanooga.
Absolutely going to crush some people's brackets if it turns out to be this final outcome. Still plenty of time to go. 4:43 you see there left in the first half. 26-16. Chattanooga up by 10 over Illinois. And now all of a sudden I feel bad that I
have Chattanooga winning that by my bracket. Just
you do?
Yeah, check it out.
Which one?
One of your 74.
The one for the show, baby.
16.5 million brackets filled out just by Scooby, and he's got that one in. Let's take a look at the next game on the docket. Obviously, everybody's waiting for this one. It's closer than I thought. Duke up 28-17 over Cal State Fullerton. So Banchero right now 8 points, and I think I took him to be the leading scorer in this in the first half. So
that was a good play.
Pretty good about myself right there.
Yeah, but do we have some stakes up for this bet if you're feeling that good? What are you winning from this, Fitz?
Yeah, I don't know what I'm winning from this. Pride and the ability to trash talk everybody. I would never trash talk Christine Williamson, though, because she's great. Christine, what do you got for us?
Iowa sophomore Caitlin Clark is having a historic season, and she could become the first female college basketball player to lead in both points and assists. It's only been done once before, by Trae Young. And that's not the only thing that's making people extremely shook. Also, her range, and it's keeping players in the association talking.
Clark, the steal, the finish.
Hi, I'm Caitlin Clark, point guard for Iowa women's basketball.
ultra competitive. She wants to win, and she will do about anything to win.
Caitlin's doing something unlike anything I've ever seen. She'll get a triple-double, and, well, nobody will be surprised.
Lead the country in points, lead the country in assists, lead the country in triple-doubles. To me, that just speaks for itself. I think she is the best player in America.
Growing up, I spent a lot of time on the fundamentals. I think a lot of kids kind of just love going back to the three-point line and chugging up shots, and I would get mad at my dad because he wouldn't really let me do that. Every day, like, I do the same exact routine, same forward shooting. As I've gotten stronger and got to college, got in a strength program, the range just kind of came with that.
Look at this! Wow! Caitlin Clark, the Jordan shrug.
Oh, the shrug. I don't know. I feel like sometimes I just do it just because, like, people can't believe I'm making shots that I am, and I was like, whatever. But no, I think it's just a competitive side to me that comes out during the game, and, you know, it's all in good fun. At Michigan game was kind of crazy. We only had 7 available players. Honestly, I think we were down 25 points at one point in the third quarter, and, you know, we were getting tired, and we really had nothing to lose, so I was like, all right, I'm gonna just start pulling it from wherever on the court.
Are you kidding me? Caitlin Clark from the logo.
It's kind of one of those things when you're first coaching her, you're like, no. Oh, phew, you know, and then it's like, yeah, this is okay, this is fun.
Holy smokes, another deep three from Caitlin Clark.
If she's feeling it, if she's in that zone, we're gonna let her shoot it.
A lot of times she'll step over half court. I'm not even back yet in transition, and she'll shoot and it'll go in, and I just go back on defense. Her range is pretty legendary. The way she plays is so unique and so fun to watch, and I just think it's drawing more and more people to our game.
Yeah, I think she's the best player in the country in college basketball right now.
Definitely taking notice of the supreme creativity of how she's getting her shots off in the range that she's doing, and I am definitely impressed.
I remember watching her. She just commanded the whole game. I was like, who the hell is this? She is nice. It was like, oh, she's the best player in the country. I was like, oh, damn, I see it now.
My college career is almost halfway over, which is kind of crazy to think about. You know, these are some of the moments that you're gonna remember forever, and, you know, I get to do it with my best friends who are also my teammates. I've just been trying to soak in every single second and really enjoy it.
Okay, so with that, because she's an absolute bucket, we're gonna play a game called Did Caitlin Clark Make This? We're gonna show Fitz, Skubie, and King some shots. We're gonna freeze it right before she makes or misses it. And they're gonna have to guess what exactly happened. So let's see the first one. Okay, so she goes up. Oh, she pulls up almost from the logo.
Look, that's a bucket.
Nah, she didn't make it.
I said the thing about her, though, is her range. You
She's making it.
Oh,
Look,
yeah, no,
2 feet, 2 feet on the floor.
Too close.
Waka, come on, man. Come on, man.
That's a bucket.
Come on, bro.
Made
Too
it.
close.
Okay. Okay. So I don't know. I feel like King has 1 and Skubie has 1. Fitz, you have 0. What's next?
All right, if you lose
Everything
5
that we're
push-ups.
doing is a competition
If you lose
today.
5 push-ups.
FYI.
5 push-ups.
If she made every one of, I'm not agreeing to your bets. I love the way he just thinks he can, like, assign. No. If she makes every one of these, that's soft from the editing people, because they're just making it all too easy.
Listen,
He just called y'all
Steph Curry of women's basketball.
He misses sometimes.
Did you see that man warm up?
That warm-up is great. And scooted all the way back.
I didn't say misses.
And all the way back.
Exactly. Okay. Let's see what else we got. Okay. Dishes out to Clark. Oh, she pulls up right there.
Look at her feet. Her feet are pointing a little bit to the left, and the basket's right over there. Miss.
I'm saying no because it's not off the bounce.
Make.
Fitz
Oh my
finally has 1 point.
That's because I figured out that they're gonna make sure she's gonna make all of them.
I don't think that's necessarily what's going on here.
Oh, sure.
Let's see what else we got.
Well, let's see.
Do you know these answers?
No, but I win regardless. All right, 10 seconds.
Miss.
What do we got?
She's too close. She missed.
Miss.
She is kind of.
She's like a
she's
dunk
too
for her.
close.
It's like a dunk.
Okay.
She's too
She
close.
makes
She
it.
missed.
She makes it.
Missed.
She missed that.
Okay.
For sure.
Oh, that's a miss. Good job, King. All right, so
I said miss
guys,
too.
I didn't hear what you said. Okay,
come
you
on.
guys have 2. Fitz has 1. What are you getting if you win this?
5 push-ups.
I tried to tell him 5 push-ups, but he said no.
5 push-ups. You scared of the
5
push-ups?
Are you scared?
Bitch, I want the push-ups. You can do this. You can get on the floor and do the worm, but not do push-ups.
Come on, 5 push-ups.
That's embarrassing. He hasn't lost yet. Do we have more?
Scooby, look at his face.
We have more. It's over. The competition
This is
isn't
like
over
a
yet. What
tradition
else
on
do we
this
have?
show.
What else do we
Talked
have? That
into
was
it.
3.
He's scared to put up.
Okay. Here.
She's making this.
She's making it.
She made it.
Okay. You guys, now y'all are both cheating, by the way, Skubie and King, if you guys consistently choose. Okay.
Oh, I said miss 2 times.
No, I'm saying if you guys, now that Fitz is down, choose the same thing, the opposite of Fitz, just to try to stay ahead
Don't
of
give
him.
him the strategy.
That's an L.
These two weren't
That's an
smart
L.
enough to figure that out.
Do we have any more cologne? Okay, we have 2 more. What's next?
Oh, she made this. I watched this. She made this.
Why would you say I watched this? You just gave them the answer. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
It's a bucket.
That's cash
That
money.
one was such money. That is such money. Okay, so you guys are all consistently whatever. I don't even know the score.
What's the last one?
I just
What's the
keep
score?
losing.
It's the last score.
Final one.
I'll pick opposite.
That's cheating. If you do that, that's cheating.
She's making that. She's making
half
that.
court?
She's making that.
Gang, what do you say? You have 5 seconds.
4, 3, 2.
She makes it.
She made it. She made it.
You want 5 push-ups?
Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah,
go. Let's go. We got buff out here. Let's go, Fitz.
Come on.
Good job, Fitz. We're very proud of you. All right, since we're on the subject of the women's tournament, we previewed it earlier. Take a look.
If we retrace our steps, we can still feel it all. Pride. Pure joy. And the ultimate risk. Love and respect. Shocking the world. And showing out.
He is a baller.
All for that sweet confetti feeling. When you step into the greatness of this moment, you'll feel it too. March Madness. Feel it here.
Thank you, Christine. Welcome to Las Vegas, the city of dreams, where you got to stay hydrated. This is a 4-day marathon of college basketball games.
If I'd have known Christine was hosting this thing, I'd have been out. I mean, you've been just been hating on me. Just right away, she's taking shots because Kentucky, like everybody else didn't have Kentucky. And on top of that, my bets have been getting mauled. It was a rough first day, and I got you piling on.
Dallin Cuff does not speak for both of us, Christine. I want to make that very, very clear.
Joe said the exact opposite earlier. He said, I don't like her either. I said, I know.
Women's tournament round of 64 starts tonight. Let's begin by taking a look at the most popular picks to win it all when it comes to the bracket challenge. And what do you know? South Carolina checking in at 30%, followed by 1 seed Stanford, 12.5%. UConn at 11%. That's your 2 seed ahead of both NC State and Louisville. Now, that is the most popular picks, but how does it stack up compared to ESPN's BPI metric in terms of chances to win the tournament? Well, take a look at this, and you'll notice a few discrepancies. First and foremost, no UConn, but once again, Dallin Cuff, South Carolina finds themselves at the top of the chart.
That's no surprise. What Don Staley's done with that program is absolutely ridiculous. So they deserve to be there. And Aaliyah Boston's an absolute, just a freight train. She's a dominant presence. Stanford's coming off a national championship, still have Cameron Brink and a lot of those stars. Nobody has repeated in the women's game for the last 5 years, though, since UConn did it, I think, in 2018. So this, I don't know if they're going to repeat. My favorite team here is NC State. I like NC State a lot, man. I covered them in, obviously, ACC all the time, the ACC Network, be in their studios every Sunday, watching them play and watching them ball. And they've got an elite post presence in Elisa Kunane, and they got a lot of great shooters around her. They're plus 650, I believe, to win the title, so I like their numbers. Now, that said, to get out of their region, the Bridgeport region, which is in Connecticut, they got to play the 2-seed UConn. Now, Paige Beckers is not 100%, but that place is going to be wholeheartedly behind UConn. So that is a hard place to play to get out of the region. I still think they do it. I think they beat Stanford in the semifinals. I do think they cut down the nets, and they pay out.
I am going to be taking that aforementioned UConn team. I'm going to forego all the 1 seeds that are that popular. I'm going to go with UConn because while they are a 2 seed, I want you to take note that this team has been a freight train as of late. They're a 2 seed because they started slow this season. 8-4 out of the gate. They battled some injuries, but they got healthy. 17-1 to close the season, as well as a 10-game winning streak. Pay attention to this too. Odds makers, not seeds, odds makers are what you should be looking at. And while UConn may be a 2 seed, they do have the second best odds to cut down the nets, checking in at plus 350 behind only South Carolina at plus 160. UConn does make you nervous a little bit?
They make me nervous because if Paige is her and Caitlin Clark are the 2 best guards in the country without a doubt. Now, talking to the great Rebecca Lobo, she didn't think she's going to be fully healthy through the tournament, at least the beginning part of the tournament, but they're going to have time to grow into it. The women's tournament tends to be very chalky. 1 and 2 seeds usually following to form to get in the Elite 8, and then it's always been 1 seeds to win. I think the last 2 seed to win was like 10 or 11 years ago. So it's not common, but again, playing in the Bridgeport region helps them. But I think we're going to run into that NC State team. That NC State team also lost in the Sweet 16 last year. Salty. They went and won the regular season. Regular season, the ACC hadn't happened since 1990. Cut down the nets in the ACC tournament. Mind you, this is with Louisville in there too, another 1 seed in that in that league. And then they go on now to this mission that they could have.
And Christine, just to reiterate again, he does not speak for both of us.
And I do not like you.
Dallin actually loves me. The problem is he doesn't understand. I messaged him yesterday because a lot of us got graphics that said our Final Four. In his I almost choked. In his Final Four, he had Kentucky. I also had Kentucky, but he didn't see my Final Four before I responded to his Final Four graphic, and I said, "You're doing really great." And then he apparently is extremely mad that I did that.
Yeah, you just got him on a day where, like, my guess is his wallet is a lot lighter today than it was yesterday.
He's a betting man. He's a betting man.
That's why he's so mad.
Yeah. Dallin's he's a little saucy right now.
He's in Vegas. He's just feeling all of the best, and it's just not working this favor.
If you're a bettor when you're losing and somebody just they're not even saying anything bad to you. Anything just gets you off edge. What, man? I'll just ask you to pass me the remote. Oh, my bad.
You speaking from personal experience?
A little bit. You know how it goes, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, my goodness. Okay.
So do we want to take a look at some of the Cinderellas?
Yeah. All right. Oh, my fault.
Like, keep going.
I got carried away a little bit over here. So speaking of betting, a betting upset that we saw was Kentucky versus St. Peter's. That is a team, St. Peter's, I think that can become that Cinderella run type of team that we haven't seen in a while because to get this win against Kentucky was really impressive. I looked up some fun facts about this team. I mean, guess what the population is at St. Peter's with their students?
2,309.
6,000.
Fitz?
3,512.
Christine, that was incredible. It's like 2,300 something.
I remember it's 2,300. I really think it's 2,000.
Yeah.
I don't know. I remember looking at that from a show that I did on Tuesday.
There we go. That's how you know she'd be in the grind. But compared to Kentucky's 30,000 people that they have going to their school, this school gets the upset. It kind of reminds me of like the 300 movie where they just sent their best warriors out there to take on the 7,000 Persians. It was the best that they could have for St. Peter's, and they took down a giant, and I think this team can carry that momentum going into the rest of the tournament. And then the last thing I'll say about them is I was on Sports Nation this morning, and there was a soundbite from one of the St. Peter's players, and they were like, hey, at what point of this game did you think that you guys were going to win? And he was like, last Thursday.
No, I don't want to hear that. No, I don't want to. Bro, you were worrying about winning your conference championship just so you can get there. You did not think you were going to win that game going into that game. You did not think that.
He said what he said. He said what he said.
You know, talking about what they said, I mean, Twitter last night was absolutely just in rage over Kentucky losing for Kentucky fans looking at Calipari saying, hey, at some point, there are expectations. You know, we talk a lot about expectations for Gonzaga. We talk a lot about expectations for Kansas. But when you are Calipari and you constantly recruit with the best of them and you constantly have a highly competitive team and you lose in the first round, so it's an unacceptable result.
To your point, Fitz, look at what they did last year. They weren't even in the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, last year was a weird year.
They were horrible last year. And this year, you get bounced first round? you're right, the expectations for those Blue Bloods. I mean, we kind of talked about it earlier, the expectations for Kansas. Kentucky has those same expectations, if not greater. You're supposed to be in the Elite Eight, the Sweet 16, the Final Four, the championship game, year in, year out. If you're not doing that, then you are failing expectations.
And I think the other thing, too, is he did say after the game that it was his fault and it was on him. He didn't blame his players, and he said it was a coaching thing. He literally acknowledged it. And that's something that I was talking to Seth Greenberg earlier today, and he said that it is absolutely on him as a coach. First of all, like you said, it's a blue blood. Kentucky is a blue blood. Now, last year I feel like it was an anomaly. Who knew what was going on with literally all the blue bloods last season? Yeah. But I feel like, I mean, what do we want from when was the last time they won a championship? In 2012?
I'd have to look it up.
It's been a minute.
2009? I don't know.
I thought it was 09. I thought it was 09.
Might have been 09. I'm getting all the.
You guys just keep stretching and I'll find it.
I think it's one of those years that I just mentioned. 2002, 2012, or 2012.
2012. Beat
Okay.
Kansas 67-59.
Okay, so in 2012, that was the last time they won a championship, which wasn't that long ago when you think about it, but it's actually.
Girl, that was long ago. That
Listen,
was 10 years
don't do
ago.
that because I was in college. Don't tell me how old I am. Anyways, so it has been a minute, right? So I feel like it's like, what is the conversation? But then when you think about it, it's the same thing that we were talking about. You said we were talking about this earlier. When you think about Bill Self, right? They constantly dominate the Big 12, but they don't do well in the tournament. The last time that they won a tournament was in 2008. Right? That was a long time ago. So I just feel like
in high school, huh?
No, leave me alone.
She's a little encyclopedia.
Anyways.
She knows all the knowledge.
Yeah, I know. It's like 2012 was right. Thank you very much. Anyways, but yeah, so I feel like it's another conversation. Like, what do we do with the blue blood coaches when they're not performing well in the postseason, but they're performing well in their conferences? They're consistently going to the tournament, which is obviously what a lot of teams don't get to do on a regular basis. But it's still, what is the conversation when it comes to that?
I mean, expectations, right? You live this, right? You sat in the bubble of it. Like, this is true in I don't care what the sport is. Like, when you suck, they just want you to not suck. And then you don't suck, and all of a sudden they're like, oh, we're pretty good. Well, we got to be really good. Then you get really good, and then you got to be a conference champion. And then you're just a conference champion if you're not a national champion. Like, every sport this happens, the minute you hit a certain level, you have to be at the absolute peak of excellence. Otherwise, your fans just want to riot. They forget, like, I mean, you come from a Baylor basketball background. Yeah. Where now there is a genuine expectation every year from those fans that Baylor be a 1 seed. And that's not what it was 10 years ago, right? Like, it's changed. And you can't, if you're one of these blue bloods, you can't put the toothpaste back in the tube.
It's the new blood versus the blue blood conversation. Yeah. Who are the new bloods? Who are the blue bloods? And are some blue bloods still blue bloods, or are they new bloods? Like, how does that work?
I think a lot of blue bloods are falling off in a sense. When you think about it, look at the UCLA. People consider UCLA a blue blood. Like, they got lucky last year, but if you look at their whole season, they were in the play-in game. They did not have a good season. That team was not that good last year. They just got hot, caught fire, and rode the momentum all the way to the Final Four. But that team was not consistent. They were not good. When you look at other schools like the Kentucky, the Kansases, I mean, I think Kansas might have a chance to win it this year, actually, with the way Remy Martin is playing. Yeah. But if you look at what they've done consistently, they have not won. They've been bounced early. They've been bounced in the Sweet 16. They haven't made it to the Final Four since the year with Malik Newman, Devontae Graham. I think that was my junior year.
Oh, my gosh, I missed Devontae. Wait, I do want to ask you a question, though, because what is the definition of a blue blood? What makes a school a blue blood, and what makes a school a new blood?
I think the blue blood is the history. I think whenever you have rich history.
But do you have to win championships?
Yeah, like rich history with a lot of players who have been successful on the next level, plus championships equals a blue blood. I think the new bloods are the schools who are now kind of like a Baylor. Baylor's a new blood. We're starting to have guys see success in the NBA. We're starting to have guys consistently win. And now we're starting to bring in high major recruits, Keontae George next year, number 3 player in the country. We're starting to get those players year in, year out, and it's an expectation for us to win.
All right, so I know we want to keep going about this, but another Cinderella team that I was thinking that I'll bring up to you guys is Richmond. The win that they got over the Iowa Hawkeyes. We talked about this earlier, but you were like, Iowa. King was like, Iowa pissed me off. Iowa had basically ruined his day. And they
were in his Final Four.
But that was the worst pick ever. What was I doing? What was I thinking?
Listen, they always disappoint them.
You were trying to do something that was, you thought it made sense.
But a 12 seed.
It was cute.
a 12 seed getting a win over the Iowa Hawkeyes, who has a National Player of the Year candidate in Keegan Murray. And the way that they closed that game out, I mean, Iowa really kept the pressure on them, and it had all the makings of an upset game. It was like they kept getting closer, but somehow Richmond would hit a three. They would hit their free throws. Yeah. Something would happen. This team has every opportunity to become that Cinderella type of team, and we didn't even really know much about them heading into the tournament.
So funny, I actually did a Richmond game last year, Richmond and Toledo, in the NIT. I did the first round of NIT last season. So this year, I was familiar with Gilliard and Tyler Burton. Gilliard, you know, he leads the NCAA ever in steals. Oh. Like, he's '1 ever in steals.
Professional thief.
Yeah, professional thief. And Tyler Burton, do not be surprised if you see Tyler Burton on the next level. So, at 6'6", he's an elite two-guard. Nice body, athletic, can shoot the three. The kid is good. These two, their backcourt is elite.
So would you say this is probably your favorite choice for Cinderella at the moment from what we've seen so far?
Yeah, I would say yes. But there's something about that St. Peter's team. I know you talked about the guys saying, oh, yeah, we knew we was going to win last Thursday. But the more I watched the game, those guys were confident. Like, the kid with the mustache, like the mini Drew Timmy mustache, he came off the screen, popped 3 or 4 of them, and looked like it was going in. Then he started talking trash. I was like, bro, this dude probably has never talked trash in all his years of playing basketball. When he gets on that stage and my man starts turning up for real.
Different beast at that point.
I mean,
that's what you love to see, right?
The Cinderella conversation is a little weird, though, because you got to look at the matchups, right? Like, so St. Peter's gets Murray State in the next round. That's a winnable game. If they can beat Kentucky, they can beat.
That's a winnable game.
Right. So, but then my question becomes, if we're talking Cinderella's, like, does Notre Dame count as one? Because Notre Dame's an 11 seed. So,
technically.
Like, an 11 seed taking on a 3 seed in Texas Tech?
What, was UCLA a Cinderella last year?
Yes, I would say yes.
Yeah.
Say yes?
Yes?
Yes, they were an 11 seed.
I mean, New Mexico State's a 12 seed taking on Arkansas.
UCLA was an 11 seed because they were not expected to do what they did. They went to the Final Four, and everybody's like, oh, but you also know that last year was a very weird year. Nothing looked normal, and things that didn't make sense started making sense. Obviously, UCLA now is a 4 seed because they're more like, oh, wait, actually, this team was really good. But, like, I feel like last year they were a Cinderella because the expectation was that for them to not do what they did.
So, I guess here's my question. Can quote-unquote blue bloods or programs with rich histories be considered a Cinderella?
I don't like it. I don't like it, personally.
I don't like it either.
I don't like it.
When was the last time? I don't know this fact. I know every single other fact, but when was the last time that UCLA won a championship?
I mean, you're right. It's been a long time, but look at their history, though. But it's a super rich history.
But yeah, it is. But
like, same thing with Notre Dame,
but if they're a blue blood, it's okay. It's blue blood versus new blood, right? Mm-hmm. Are you winning championships now? Are you consistently that good now? You used to be. If the last time you won I'm doing what you did last time. If the last time you won was in the 90s, there's kids that weren't even born then. These kids that are playing in the tournament right now don't even know about when UCLA was a blue blood.
And that comes back to that blue blood, new blood conversation, I think, a little bit, and even with Cinderella's, is about consistency. Mm-hmm. Like, there's a real question once you lose whatever that consistent piece is. Right now, Duke is obviously the absolute epitome of a blue blood. Will they be after Coach K's been gone for a decade and Duke hasn't had the unparalleled success, presuming that they take the same drop-off? I don't know. Like, so, you know, I'll go, since being the old man in the room, and I always bring up UNLV, because when I was a kid, UNLV was really good. And it was a given that UNLV was always going to be great. And they haven't been relevant in 25 years. So, like, when it drops, it drops. If UNLV went on a run today, they'd be a Cinderella. If we rewound back to 91, that same conversation, people would be like, no, the UNLV is a blue. I mean,
this is how I'll phrase it to you guys. University of Miami football is irrelevant in 2022, whatever year we're on, right? But at one time, they were absolutely dominant. Yeah. People today do not know how dominant University of Miami was back then, but it was actually crazy how dominant they were, right? So I feel like that's the conversation. You look at the history of it, and yes, they used to be really good, but they are so far removed from that conversation that now it's almost like it's a joke. And I don't think that's how it is with UCLA and stuff like that, but I think that's the difference between blue bloods and new bloods. It's like, yes, they had a very rich history, but what the heck are you doing now?
And I think Cinderellas might be about unknowns. Like, think about the actual Cinderella movie.
That would make more sense.
It's like, oh, who is Cinderella?
We
don't rags to riches.
Right. Because Cinderella walked into a room and then the prince didn't know who the heck she was. That would make more sense.
Were you a big fan of the movie? Just a question. Did you like that movie growing up?
Cinderella?
Yeah.
Which one?
There's more than one Cinderella?
More than,
Yeah.
I'm not going to ask.
I mean, like the cartoon.
Like, dang, I don't even get this specific. I was just like, the
one
story.
With Brandy, the one with Brandy was fire.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
I'm so
Yeah,
old.
that's a good one.
I'm so old. I would have been an adult watching that one, which is creepy. I might be able to add a Cinderella to this conversation. Let's take a look at some of the games that are in progress right now, and there are some upsets of brewing. That's right, Chattanooga.
I love that.
I don't know.
That's weird.
Thank you so much. 33-29, Chattanooga up over Illinois right now. This is a 13 beating a 4. But I will say this was a much bigger, it was a much bigger gap in the score a few minutes ago. So 33-29 right now. We'll see how this one plays out. Next, let's take a look at that Duke score in progress. Duke up by 10, 37-27. Duke is up over Cal State Fullerton by 10. I think I got this one right, though. Paulo Banchero, 12.7 boards, leading scorer in the first half.
Yeah.
So sometimes you just got to keep things simple, y'all. Like, I got that one.
I tried to say AJ Griffin because I was like, I don't know. Let's not say Banchero for once.
And I think we've got one more here coming up on the in progress scores, but I don't know. Maybe we're getting. Yes, it is in progress now. 11 versus 6 in this Iowa State LSU matchup that looks like it is going to be awesome so far. Not disappointing at all. So those some of your.
Another
and then
one.
we've got Arizona up 42.
Listen, Vegas knew something. I told you.
That's almost over.
Still in the first half.
And it's still 4 minutes to go.
I was like, listen, there's a reason why this is a large
what was
number.
It, 74, right? Was what
Yeah.
it was, and we're at 68 right now. So
And there's 3 minutes left. I'm like, Vegas knows something for some reason.
there are a bunch of people right now sitting in a sports book in Vegas that are yelling at their TVs, "Don't go cold! Don't go cold!"
And you know they can. You know they can.
Yeah. All right. So we're bringing in some guest stars now.
Let's go.
How you been?
How you been,
I
fam?
haven't worked with you in 42 years.
God.
42 years.
I thought this was the goodbye party for Sports Nation.
I was there.
Single tier.
Oh my goodness.
Our hockey expert and trivia host.
Yeah. First of all, shout out to South Carolina.
I love that.
4 points at the half, people.
I'm really. I haven't met you before. I'm King, by the way.
Yeah, what's
but I love the jersey.
Let's go.
You were rocking the jersey with the shoes. I'm loving the
can always
fit.
wear
though.
the drip.
I'm loving the fit.
Go. You know what's up. You know what's up, my dude.
First of all, I'm really nervous about this. Okay, go on.
So we got So I'm here for a reason, okay? Specifically
to make the show.
You guys have been too buddy on the show right now, so we got to get some competition going.
All right.
Okay?
Oh no. Fitz had to do 5 push-ups earlier.
Yeah, Fitz
Oh, really? You did 5 push-ups? Like, actually? In a row?
I'm in the middle. I'm in the best shape of my life. I'm older than all y'all, but I'm in the best shape of my life. So,
I thought you were going to say in better shape than all of us.
No.
Christine was like, see me.
I did Pilates, Fitz. Okay?
No, absolutely not. All right, I got some trivia for y'all. Specifically, it's themed trivia. It's going to be some mascot trivia.
Okay.
All right?
Uh-oh.
So this is what we're going to do. Everyone gets a chance to answer. I'm going to give you 5 seconds after I ask the question. You write your answer down after 5 seconds. Let's say 5 to 10, something like that.
I'm
Turn them
awful.
around. If you get the answer right, you get 1 point. If you don't, 0. It's not Jeopardy rules. You don't lose points, all right?
What does the loser do?
We gotta come with the stakes. What's the stakes? You let us know. All
I
that.
can't do push-ups right now.
You let us know.
Bragging rights, maybe 5 push-ups.
Oh, bragging rights isn't good enough. We need something better than that.
Well, maybe you can think about that as we go along. There's some sort of stakes happening here.
Okay.
Chris, you tell us in our
doing
ear.
push-ups.
She said, I'm not doing push-ups.
We'll find out
What I say
You
earlier.
never want to
really think
participate.
that far ahead.
What I
We're just
say
thinking
earlier.
about
Wait. Like, you're in
I
great
have
shape,
heels
so
on.
let's. Does that matter for push-ups?
You put heels on and do push-ups.
Squats?
Wouldn't be the first time in my
I do
life I wore
squats.
heels.
Squat. And we'll do push-ups.
Of course you do. All right, here we go. Ready?
A wall squat.
All mascot-themed trivia. Feel free to play along, everyone watching. Question number 1. 1 point. Which animal is the most popular school mascot?
I got it.
Your options are A, tiger, B, bulldog, C, wildcat, D, bear.
Call me Tiger. I said Tiger if you can't see it.
Excuse me, sir. Did he say turn it around yet?
Yeah, he said he's going to count.
Just go. Scooby doesn't follow
5
the rules,
push-ups
see?
for not being able to listen.
That's a -1. You start at -1. You don't be listening.
No.
All right, we all good? All right, reveal your answers. Let's see what you guys wrote. The answer is tiger.
What?
Who had Tiger?
I said Tiger, and you guys still got it wrong.
Where are we?
You got it wrong. You got it.
Where are we going?
I'm not copying you.
Wait. I'm going to be very honest, Scooby. If there's somebody in this group I'm going to cheat off of, it's not you. All right? So
You're in bad position here. Except to follow
numbers
me.
don't lie. Check the scoreboard.
It's early. It's early.
Question 2, 1 point.
Arda, who's keeping score?
I think they are our
Okay,
intrepid
good.
math.
Thank
I'm going to put one
genius producers
on my
who are
board.
all in Mensa are keeping a track of this.
I knew I should have went Tiger.
Question number 2. How many Division I schools have a Bulldog as their mascot? Is it 12, 15, 11, or 9?
Man, oh man.
Butler, Drake, Bryant, Alabama A&M, South Carolina State, Yale. The answer is 15. What do we got?
At 9.
Oh,
Okay,
0.
if you're the closest.
No. There's no privacy.
You know what? We can't change the rules.
What is it?
You know there's a showing for you, but we can't change the rules for you, Christine. We can't do it. All right, question 3. 0 points on that for those watching at home, by the way. Question 3, true or false? 1 point, mascots get a full ride scholarship. The answer is, turn them around, let's see what you guys wrote. The answer is true. Largely depends on how prominent
they
the
did not do that at Baylor. Our
Even
mascot.
smaller schools will cover a large percentage of tuition.
Goodness.
Dang, I'm down 1.
All right, now we're getting into the multiple point
You got
round
to watch
here.
more shows about mascots.
Feel free, producers, to update me on the score as we go along. To who's in the lead?
I'm keeping
and by
mine.
How much?
Cologne, I got 50
Christine's
bucks in my
in the lead.
pocket.
I have
So,
0.
Christine, you're in the lead with 2 points right now. Question 4 for 2 points. Now we're getting into the multiple point category
Oh, wow.
here.
Okay, good.
Let's go.
Who has more NCAA tournament appearances? Kentucky or UNC?
The tournament in general?
Yeah. Reveal?
Oh, wait, I'm still writing.
Don't say it yet.
Scooby? The answer is Kentucky. 15 appearances, UNC second with 50.
Thank you. That's 3 for
What'd you
me.
put,
Thank
Fitz?
you.
UNC?
Cologne, I got 50 bucks in my pocket. 50.
He might have lost 2 games.
All right, we're moving this along. Question number 5, also 2 points. Miami adopted a bird as their mascot in 1926. What is his name and breed?
That's unfair.
This is so fair.
Did you write this question, Christine? Is that yours?
Nope.
No, I did not.
Look at
She went
This is
there.
something that didn't
right on you the whole time. Like, I got this, don't worry.
Okay, wait.
All right, reveal your answers.
Yeah, my answer is very simple. Whatever Christine says,
That
which is
technically-
correct.
What is
That's
that?
I don't even
The
know.
fact that you guys don't know it's Sebastian the Ibis
There you go.
is
It is
actually
correct.
extremely sad.
I would have not
That's
guessed
Who
that.
else knew
Sebastian the Ibis?
I wouldn't have gotten that like 1,000
I talked to
years.
producer Jeff Brown the other day, and he said Sebastian the Ibis. So
right.
he knew.
This is 1
Why
point
is that
each.
on there?
We're going to give you a little bit more time for this, but producers are going to count us down. For 5 total points, 1 point each, name 5 schools that have live mascots and their names.
Ooh.
In their
Okay,
names?
so there's
And their names.
Wait, are there
And
2
their
parts for this?
Like actual live animal mascots and
What if
the
we
name of this
do? We
mascot.
have to get both for full credit.
I believe, no, you don't.
Okay.
You don't.
So 5.
Yeah, 5. A list of 5. They could be birds, they could be fish, they could be dogs, they could be ones that we've already said.
Oh, hold on. Wait a second.
I'm just missing 1.
I got 1. I only have
I got 1. I don't even know his
They
name.
could be Bengal tigers. They could be leopards.
Wait.
They could be cats.
This should be. We should be able to get a part for this one. I'm
Cougars?
looking at you, producers. Because if they got 1 and I got more than 1, I just don't know their names.
Is the one that just got her school mascot as a
You're like, I don't
question
know.
completed right now?
All right. Ready? Turn them around. Let's see how many we got.
I only got 3.
You said you were down to.
Wait, I just don't know their names, except for I know Freak. I know this one's name because my friend literally owned it.
Only?
At one point, yes.
Fitz, you got one.
I got one.
You got Tiger. Scooby,
LSU,
you're still
Mike the
writing
Tiger.
after the pen's
You
down.
cheated!
Scooby, what do you
He had
Texas, Georgia, Baylor.
I thought
I don't even have anything good. She's like, you didn't get points.
The place here. Yes, it was going to be the name of the mascot. But
You had to have the name of the mascot with that. You
Yes,
couldn't just say LSU has a tiger. You had to know it was LSU had Mike the Tiger, right?
No, that's why I said,
So how many do you have?
Arda,
Four or
I said,
five?
Arda, can we do half if we only do one?
Producers will
If we only have the
figure
live
this
animal
out.
team and
Look,
not
I
the.
have 3. That's all I know.
You didn't even
Christine
have.
wins.
You didn't even have Georgia.
Look, I got 5 points.
I'm just giving myself 5
I thought we had to have not only what the mascot was,
All right,
but
question
what the
7.
name
Let's
of the
move on.
mascot is.
That's why I said whatever. Go on.
That's why I thought it was Mike. Like that's why I put Mike the Tiger because I was like, that's the only one I know.
This is the final question here.
10
I
points.
had, just so everybody knows, if we are getting partial scores for that, I had 5 teams.
I didn't understand the assignment, which should shock no
That's because
one.
you didn't listen. Yep,
I
exactly.
listened. I just didn't understand. I'm not bright. I'm pretty.
At home. Final question. What is the name of Colgate's mascot?
Oh, I just saw this the other day.
I just saw this.
This should be a very easy answer for Jason Fitz.
You should
That's a
actually
hint.
ask us what the name of the Providence
I don't know.
mascot is, because I know that.
I have no idea.
I
So
think it's this, but I'm not. Ooh, I'm spelled that wrong.
All right, 5 seconds.
had a good start, but I fell apart towards the end.
Were you ever together for this?
The beginning.
At the beginning, you okay?
I was in there.
All right, turn them around. Let's see what we got. Eagles, toothpaste, the Raiders. The answer is Raider. That's correct.
I also said your mom.
Got it right.
Yeah, I said your mom.
Wait, what did you say?
So I just have a fun fact about mascots that I
-1.
learned the other day. The Providence mascot, they're the Providence Friars. Their mascot is named Friar Dom, just so everybody knows.
Friar Dom.
Yeah.
Well, that was not the answer to this, but nevertheless,
I know.
it's really good.
That's the sort of nugget.
Who was our winner?
What was the score? I had 3. How
I
many do you
have
have,
6
Fitz?
points.
5.
Our winner is
I have
Christine.
6 points.
Congratulations,
Thank you.
Christine.
Who lost?
Now everybody go buy me dinner.
Fitz.
Monday,
how many points do you
Tuesday,
have?
Wednesday,
Oh, I have no idea.
Thursday.
I had very
Thank
few
you.
points, I'm sure. I'm
Oh, wait,
sure
you
I had
didn't-
very few
Monday,
points.
Tuesday,
We'll let you
Wednesday.
slide. No punishment.
Here's what I know. I didn't have many points. Drew Timmy has had a bunch of points. He sat down with Sean Farnham. Check this
Smooth.
out.
Look at that.
Win.
Timmy down low, puts it in.
This Gonzaga team loves to play through Drew Timmy in the low post.
Inside Timmy.
There it is.
Look at those hands.
Great hands.
Drew, what is the secret sauce? Everybody wants to know. What's the secret sauce of the Gonzaga Bulldogs?
I think just how big of a family we are, the trust that we have in each other and the belief we have in each other. I think you can see that when we play, whether it's Shaq going coast to coast, Andrew hitting step back mid-ranges, everyone being themselves within the system.
What has the success of your team meant to you?
Everything. I get asked all the time, how does it feel to be preseason player of the year? And every time my answer is, I really don't care. I would trade everything for a national championship, without a question. And I love assists more than points most of the time. It just brings me joy to see other people succeed, especially my teammates and brothers.
He's good at that. Running the floor.
Where do you feel like you've grown the most since you arrived in Spokane?
Freshman year, I didn't play that much at first. Sophomore year, I start rocking my headband again since high school and changing my facial hair up all the time. Something that I'm proud of myself for is not letting others change the way I carry myself or how I present myself. Something a lot of people say about me is I'm a character on the court, but I'm just me. If you're gonna do something, you might as well have fun with it.
Timmy, great post position.
The spin cycle. Watch the footwork. It's textbook.
People say Drew Timmy's a great college player, but his game doesn't translate to that next level. What are those people missing?
Well, I say thank you for calling me a great college player, one. But coming out of high school, people said I want to be a good college player. I think people overlook production and just the consistency. Now I get it, I don't have the biggest wingspan or I can't touch the top corner of the backboard, you know. I'm probably not the sexiest combine guy around, but I'm a big team guy. Obviously, I'm not gonna have the same role here as I would in the league if I'm fortunate enough to play there.
Timmy with another bucket. Wow.
Is there a chance that we see Drew Timmy back in a Gonzaga uniform next year?
NIL's made it way more enticing to come back, but you know, I'm getting old as well. I feel like if I come back another year, I'll be even older than Perry Ellis was. No, it's not something I'm thinking about yet. I haven't reflected on it yet, and Spokane's a great place to be I get better every year I'm here. I enjoy the family, the people, the environment, but professional has a lot of good options too, so I'll just take my time with it and enjoy the ride while I'm still here.
All right, I do want to say something about Drew Timme. I met him at the ESPYs. He had a really, really good time at the ESPYs. I ended up babysitting him. But we love that he's thriving right now. Okay. We have our very good friend,
I feel like
Harry
there's a lot
Lyles
of that story that like I left on the road.
joining us. Harry,
What's happening?
I texted you yesterday because your Georgia State Panthers were playing Gonzaga,
Yes.
and it was a very great matchup. You know, they were winning they were close at the half. And I texted you and I said, I'm going to text you right now just to say congratulations now because I'm not sure this is going to carry out throughout the second half. What was your perspective as a Georgia State Panther yourself watching that matchup?
Honestly, like, I just came away from that game proud. Like, they were probably in the game for, like, what, 30 of the 40 minutes? Like, that's about 29 more minutes than I thought they would have been in that game. I mean... look, and that's no slander to Georgia State or nothing like that, but you had a team that was 18-10. Obviously, they came in hot. They'd won their last 10 games to make it into the tournament. And at that point, like, those guys are playing with no fear. And, like, why should you play with any fear, right? Like, you are probably lucky to be there in a sense. You're going up against a team that could end up being in the conversation as one of the greats of all time. Like, go out there and see what happens. And they put up a hell of a fight. So I thought it was pretty cool.
All right, so based on what you watched there, what's your level of concern for Gonzaga going into the next round against Memphis?
I've got more concern with the amount of y'all that did not know that Sebastian the Ibis was Miami's mascot than I do with Gonzaga. Because,
Come on, man.
Can I get a 30-second timeout here? Like, if you have, like, sniffed, like, around, like, the U and, like all Miami being cool and stuff like that, y'all would know that. That threw me for a loop. Either way,
all right.
Gonzaga, like, it kind of was, like, a little shaky, obviously. Like, you would hope that a team, especially the #1 overall seed, would show a little bit more against a team like Georgia State. But I think when you're going into a game against a Memphis team that does have a lot more talent, and I think that their ceiling has been high, but they haven't really had a very easy path this year. It's been a lot of ups and downs for Memphis. Like, this should be kind of a good game to get them back on track and doing what they do. But, I mean, the way that Gonzaga was still able to blow out Georgia State in the fashion that they did in what was basically like 8 minutes of a beatdown, right? Like, they went on a 21-0 run, and ultimately, like, Chet Holmgren still had the incredible stat line. So the people that missed the game had no idea that Georgia State put up a better fight against them than Indiana did in their game. So to me, I think there should be a little bit of concern because it's like, how much are you playing with your food? But to me, Gonzaga's going to be fine.
All right, so staying kind of in the West, there's two teams that we kind of look at, double-digit seeds that got wins. That was New Mexico State, and then it was also, if I'm sure, Notre Dame. Notre Dame, we talked about it earlier in the show about these two teams being Cinderellas. What are your thoughts on them making possible Cinderella runs?
I think they can. There was that, Christine, we got a lot of me looking like Desmond Ritter during the football season. I got a lot of that brother on New Mexico State as well last night. So
yes,
I'm personally rooting to see them have a little bit of success. Yeah, so, to me, March is all about, like, getting hot at the right time, right? Like, if you are anywhere between, like, a 9 and a 14, if you're playing your best basketball this time of year, really anything can happen. And you also kind of have to hope that some other things fall your way. But I think they both put together some great games. And at least from Notre Dame's perspective, you got a coach like Mike Bray. Like, when you've got a guy that's been there the way that he has, that's the type of team that you can see going a little bit further along in the tournament.
Now, you talked about Christine's mascot. But I'm from the South, so let's take it down to the South. That's why I didn't know. Michigan, I don't want to use the word upset. Would you use the word upset?
I didn't like it. I
don't like the word upset Colorado State because I feel like it's Michigan.
Yeah.
So Michigan beat Colorado State, and they've had an up and down year. We saw the drama that they've had with their coach. What were your thoughts when you saw them?
I feel like if you're a Michigan fan, like, I think you're glad that they won, but I think you also kind of want to just get out of this. Like, Michigan, to me, like, the talent's there. I think eventually, like, I think this is all going to work out for them, to be quite honest with you. Like, it's very apparent that Juwan Howard likes being there. Like, everybody goes back to the introductory press conference, how emotional that was. They got some big minutes out of a freshman yesterday, but it was still shaky. Like, to me, it just wasn't the type of performance that you would feel confident in moving forward. They're just not built for a tournament run, which is okay, because I think, again, at this point, after the whole scuffle happened with Wisconsin, if you're Michigan, you're just trying to hope that, hey, you get out of this season as nice as possible, and you can just kind of hopefully clean this thing up and keep it moving forward.
So I will tell you that my bracket looks really ridiculous at this point. I know we haven't had that much basketball played just yet. How does your bracket look? What's going on with your bracket?
I still have all my Final Four teams, so I'm happy about that. I didn't have Kentucky going far. I think I had them either losing to Murray State or UCLA, if I'm thinking of the right side of the bracket. But yeah, I mean, mine's busted like everybody else, but so far, like, I feel still decent about it. You know, I haven't had any, like, super big losses that got me down yet.
Okay.
Hey, where'd you have Tennessee going in your bracket?
I think I have them losing in the Elite Eight.
Oh, okay, so you got them in the next round over at Michigan.
I do want to also ask you, zero chance that you had Georgia State beating Gonzaga.
Okay, so, like, here's my thing, right? Like, because with, like, the tournament pool, we've got one. Well, so we've got one for Around the Horn, right? So, like, you know, everybody can
so you
pick
got
with
multiple
us and
brackets?
things like that. And so, no, I only have one bracket, but what I did was I picked Georgia State on national television on Tuesday, and then I picked Gonzaga in my bracket because that's a business decision. You know what I mean? Like, they understand.
I feel that, heard that. Come on. 100%.
To be clear, one more time, Harry, how many brackets do you have?
One.
Listen, we need options around here. You guys.
Everybody has. Did you
Wait, who's got more than one bracket?
Skubie has 5.
This guy right here, Skubie. He has 5.
Hold on, let me readjust my earpiece. You said 5?
He has 5. Yes, you heard correctly.
Like 1, 2, 3, 4, like this?
Yeah.
Cinco.
5 time. 5 time.
Yep.
5 time. 5
For what?
time. Listen, I told them earlier. I'm in a pool that lets you have multiple brackets, and we're playing for money. And it's only
All of them do.
$5 per bracket.
Challenge.
So I was like, listen, if I'm in a pool with like 30 people and everyone's creating multiple brackets, I got to make more too.
Harry, he is confused.
Nah, brother,
he is confused.
We got to get
doesn't
you
know
some
what's going
new
on.
friends, man.
By the way,
Yeah,
Harry,
I don't know about all that.
Harry slid out there, you know, the Around the Horn thing because you've been crushing it there.
Yeah.
Are you in and Around the Horn, like, challenge? Is there a bracket challenge? And if so, who are you trash talking from Around the Horn? This is what we got to know.
Yeah, there is a bracket challenge. I really haven't started talking trash yet because I'm trying to wait to see, like, you know, who's going to get weeded out because I feel really confident in what I got here. I really do think I got something going on.
Yeah, Harry, I'll tell you something. I've been working with Sarah Spain for a very long time. Just don't try. You will lose if you trash talk Sarah Spain. I'm just saying she's smarter than all of us.
I know better than that.
Yeah, that's fair. All right, Harry, you stick around. We're going to get you back in a few minutes, but we got to get everybody caught up on some of the action going on right now. Cool?
Sounds good.
All right, let's take a look at some in-progress updates here.
Ooh,
you know,
Chattanooga.
Chattanooga. Come on, Christine, you know you like it.
No.
Chattanooga.
It's actually okay.
They're up 40-33 on Illinois. This game keeps going, and Illinois keeps not getting it done.
Oh, Kobe Coburn, what is happening?
Well,
I had them losing, so I'm with it. Yeah, I had Chattanooga win it.
In which bracket, though?
The work one.
Oh, okay.
I already said this earlier. You ain't seen me, didn't even listen.
Yeah, okay.
She wasn't here. She took a quick break. I got your back, Christine, for sure.
Duke could take a quick break for a few minutes and still be up by a lot. They're up 51-33 right now over Cal State Fullerton. Shocking, really. Who could have seen this coming? But not a lot going on there that we didn't expect. Iowa State, LSU.
As expected.
This is 19-12, and we think it's going to be the big game of the night, right? So it feels like it's going to be one of the closer games of the night.
If you like offense, don't watch this game.
Yeah, what was the first half of this? Was it 40-something or 60-something?
I think it was 60-something, and you said hammer the under. So far, it feels good on that. Arizona hammering Wright State, I should say, 42-31. This was 74 was what they said for the over-under at the half.
Yo,
it is 73.
Oh, that is amazing.
The under.
Barely.
The fact that it was this close
why
reminds us, like, Vegas Vegas always wins.
Why betting is a killer. Oh, my God.
All right, so Purdue sophomore sensation Jaden Ivey, one of the best players in the country to watch. Everybody loves how dynamic he is offensively. But to get a real sense of Jaden's journey, you have to start with his mom, Niele, a St. Louis native, current Notre Dame head coach. Niele Ivey's in her second year at the helm of the women's basketball program, a program in which the Irish runs deep in the Ivey veins.
Was the cutter down the lane with the left hand. Got it. The lead pass from Ivey. Douglas at the buzzer. Didn't get it.
Helping Notre Dame win its first national championship in 2001 was just the start of an exciting and life-changing year for All-American Niele Ivey.
With the 19th pick of the 2001 WNBA draft, the Indiana Fever select Niele Ivey from Notre Dame.
Was so excited about being drafted. I've always wanted to play professionally.
In her rookie season, Niele started 26 games, but in July, she began to feel unusually fatigued.
Just coming off of national championship, a long season in college, I just thought, my body was just wearing down. So I went to the doctor and then found out that I was carrying Jaden.
On February 13th, 2002, Jaden Denaje Ivey was born.
I introduced basketball to Jaden probably when he was about 3. I bought him one of the Fisher-Price hoops for Christmas, and then he started kind of shooting on the little hoop.
My earliest memory of the game of basketball in the gym with my mom and the practices that she had, I was always in the gym.
I had dreams of making the all-star team, being a champion, but then after Jaden, I was just like, I'm a single mother and I gotta survive, and this is my source of income, this is my livelihood. He was definitely my why.
After 5 years in the WNBA, Niele transitioned to coaching. In 2007, she returned to Notre Dame, this time assisting her former head coach, Muffet McGraw.
Like add a series where the posts are driving it and then they get a shot.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
I think of the players like, Skylar Diggins, Jewel Lloyd, Enrique Gumuale, like all those amazing women. I was able to witness them and witness their greatness. They were my first role models, just found that love and that passion for the game from them.
There's a lot of things that he does, his mannerisms, and I'm like, that is completely Skylar or that is completely Enrique, because he followed them and he learned from them. He's learned the game from strong women, and I think that's very powerful.
In 2020, Jaden took those skills to Purdue, where he currently leads the team in scoring and plays his home games close enough for Mom to make the 2-hour drive to watch him play.
When I know I'm getting close, I start getting nervousness for the game because I'm a different person as a mom than I am as a head coach.
It's going to be loud. It's going to be ruckus.
Come on, Jaden.
Boy, Ivey, a really explosive step, goes right to the basket.
The sky's the limit for him, and he's just scratching the surface.
My mom is my wife. She sacrificed so much to provide for me, and I'm just so thankful for her.
To just sit back and enjoy all that he's done and to watch him live his dreams is the best thing in the world.
All right, so we bring back Harry Lyles as we look at Jaden Ivey and Purdue, and obviously been a lot of fun to watch this Purdue offense throughout the course of the year. Harry, what have you seen from Jaden?
Listen, he's the type of player that I think Purdue specifically has needed for a long time now, specifically since Matt Painter became head coach. They've always had a bunch of pieces that have gone well together. And honestly, some other notable players that have been standouts, but he is something that is different. That is the reason why I actually have this team in the Final Four, because he is the type of player who, when things are getting down right, like the tournament is all about runs, 8-0 runs, 10, things like that. When you need to break a run, he is the type of guy that you go to get a bucket, and they have not had a guy like that in the last 10 or 15 years. So I think he is one of the premier players in the country when he gets hot. There's not a lot of guys that are more fun to watch. And again, like I said, that's why I got them in the Final Four.
Harry, I have to defend my Baylor Bears because they're in the same bracket as Purdue. So I'm not going to let you slide and say that Purdue is going to get past Baylor. State your case. Why is Purdue going to beat Baylor?
I think that Purdue is going to be Baylor. Well, I think Baylor's going to lose to UCLA. I think UCLA is going to get their act together, and that's going to happen. But so hear me out, though. So hear me out. My thing is that if Baylor was healthy and they were at the top of their game, I would have had Baylor in the Final Four without a question.
That's true.
But just because of their struggles and things like that, that's the only reason why I'm picking against them because, oh, my gosh, like I feel like some people forgot what they did last year. Like that team was tough. And they still got some of those guys back from last year. Obviously, Scott Drew's one of the best coaches in the country. But for me, I think those injuries are going to catch up to them at some point or another. It might not be UCLA. It could be Purdue. But I think that's going to get them at some point.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I'm not going to judge you too much.
This is not a good time for me to tell King that I also have Purdue in my Final Four. Go ahead.
Hey, I actually have Purdue in my Elite Eight for the work bracket, but in my other brackets, you know what I'm saying, I got them in the Final Four.
I swear to God, other bracket's going to be a drinking game by the end of tonight.
All right, real quick, Harry. In the whole East region, man, I had a couple of busts in my bracket. I actually had Indiana making it towards the Sweet 16. So which one of these teams, I mean, I know you said Purdue making it far, but which one of these teams do you think can actually cause some trouble and cause that upset that we didn't expect going forward in the East region?
You know, to be honest with you, I look at that Baylor-North Carolina matchup, and again, like to me, a lot of what March is about being hot at the right time. But another team that I think I want to point out here also is St. Mary's. St. Mary's is the type of team where you start getting guys that you know, like the thing with college basketball that's so hard for people to follow nowadays is the roster turnover. St. Mary's has a bunch of guys now that have experience. West Coast Conference doesn't get a lot of love outside of Gonzaga, but these guys are, battling hard year in and year out. They're always right there, and I think that that's a team that people should really look out for as well.
Yeah, they're scary. They can shoot the ball really well, too.
Okay, let's go to the Midwest region. Just look at that really quickly. I don't know if you know who's in the Midwest region, but let's just take a look really fast.
I wonder who's out there.
I do want to ask you specifically who you think is going to come out of the Midwest region.
Yeah, hey, you're afraid.
If you look at the bottom of the Midwest region specifically, there is a University of Miami team that's
never heard of them.
Yes.
But let's start with the top. Kansas obviously won the first round of the games. Richmond had that big upset. What do you think about the top of the Midwest?
I find it hard to see Kansas not coming out of that top part. I think Iowa just got jinxed by everybody, right? They became a popular pick because they finished the season strong, which I understand, but I think that the Big Ten tournament kind of just took the wind out of them. Providence is good, but they're not consistent. Obviously, Richmond's a fun story, but I don't really see Kansas losing. Maybe Creighton because of Greg McDermott's experience. He's put a lot of great teams through the tournament and has plenty of experience there. But to me, this Kansas team is just too strong. I don't see anybody knocking them off.
So, Harry, at the bottom of the bracket, how long do I wait after Auburn beats Miami to trash talk Christine?
No.
Honestly, probably after the first 8 minutes of the first half. I think that's probably about where I go. But no, I actually have Auburn coming out of here and getting to the Final Four. I do think that they're going to get their act together. I know they kind of struggled there towards the end of the season a little bit, but at the beginning of the year, when they had their act together, they looked really good. And Bruce Pearls, to me, is one of the better coaches in the country.
By the way, I'm shook by the fact that Harry and I seem to have a lot of the Final Four that are the same. We've got LSU, Iowa State going on right now. What's a realistic expectation in that game for you?
I mean, if you're LSU, you just got to kind of hope for the best, right? I mean, you're without Will Wade. To me, they're both talented teams. I think Iowa State is a little bit better than people give them credit for. But to me, if you're LSU and you get past that game again, I think it's one of those cases where it's similar to a Georgia State situation where you have to look at it and you're like, all right, we're just playing with house money at this point, right? We're happy to be here. We're happy to be playing basketball. So you just ride with it. But, as you see here, obviously Iowa State's up 9. I believe I picked Iowa State in this matchup because of Will Wade's absence. So we'll see how that one plays out.
So we're watching games together, obviously, right now, Harry. What's your go-to strategy when you got to watch 16 games at once, the beginning of March Madness? How were you doing that yesterday?
So here's my thing with that, right? Dragonfly Jones made a good point on Twitter yesterday where he was like, hey, one of the things that we didn't absolutely need was every single game on television because none of us are actually watching every single game in the way that you would actually sit down and enjoy a basketball game, right? So, When Georgia State was keeping it close with Gonzaga, I was watching that game. As soon as Georgia State lost contain on that one, I flipped over. I know what the result is. I don't need to worry about that game.
True.
So to me, it's always about, like, you know, maybe you have a couple games on the other screens, but to me, you watch one game, you kind of take track of what's going on elsewhere. And if you need to adjust, right, you can do that.
But let me be the old guy in the room again here, because I saw somebody tweet this yesterday that reports on media. Like, can you imagine if Twitter existed a generation ago, like when, you know, it's not that long ago, when you had to watch whatever the local CBS affiliate put on for you right then, and you had no choice. So you might get a game, they might cut out of a game. Like, we're not that far removed from one game being your option, and now we're all watching Impractical Jokers in between games. Like, you know, I'm just saying, y'all feel...
It's a great time. It's a great time. Harry, we miss you so much. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
We'll see you later.
Appreciate it, bro.
All right, man.
I'm sorry that they lost. The Panthers lost. All right. We're okay.
No, they didn't put this old picture of me.
Oh, I thought we were going to see an actual score here.
Y'all are so wrong. Y'all are so wrong for this.
I thought we were going to see an actual score, but there is no score. But this is just a reminder of what we said. I'm trying to make sure this is what I said. I did say, yeah. Okay.
I said under.
Fitz,
there we
that's
go.
a fire pick, Fitz.
What? Excuse me.
Good thing. I mean, yeah, you look bald.
Fitz looks like an evil villain.
Thank you. That is me. He does look like an evil villain. How old is that picture? That's my question.
Like he's about to decipher his plan.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so I'm not sure. This is our first half over-unders. I'm not sure who's I feel like we kind of have a lot of consistencies here. Now, this is Duke and Cal State. This is LSU, Iowa. I feel like we're all doing a very good job.
Iowa was the first to 20. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I lost that one.
Yeah, you did.
Look, Fitz got it. Okay, I see you with it.
Okay.
I feel good. I feel good about this. I feel better about this than about what we're about to try to do, because we are about to do a bracket. Anytime there's brackets going on, we decide to do one that's wild, and this one is the Lunch Madness bracket.
I don't know who made this, but this is beautiful.
Yeah. This is really well.
It is pretty.
I love it.
I'm starving.
Now, I'm going to be very transparent with everybody. None of us have seen the Elite Eight. None of us have seen the final. Like, we don't know how this starts, right? So I just know that
hold on. It's already.
Elite. It's already down to the 8. We've got the Elite 8 going on here, right? So
they better pick the right Elite 8.
So I'm just on one side. All right, this is the Lunch Madness. On one side, we got to come to some sort of a determination here. So we got the cheeseburger versus ham and cheese up top.
Second
ham and cheese is literally no.
Yeah, the second
cheeseburger by 20.
Yes.
I want to know what ham and cheese beat out, because that has to be something bad.
Ham and cheese is a delight. Like, you take your grilled cheese that's really well done.
It's an old fashioned. It's a classic.
Yeah, like you go to a diner when you've had way too. Okay.
No.
I'm not voted on this one, but let me just say this: like, cheeseburgers are okay. All right. So the cheeseburger advances. I think I just moved the cheeseburger into the Final Four. We'll see here. And then chicken tenders versus chicken soup.
Come on, man. Chicken.
That's not even close.
That's not even
chicken soup isn't a lunch.
Appetizer.
It's a side dish.
Okay.
Chicken tenders.
Oh, so you like sides?
I think we're. Yeah,
don't answer the question. He's baiting you. He's baiting you. Don't do that.
We're gonna see if I've done this correctly. We'll find out. Oh wait.
Nope.
Then I got to go to the other side on the Elite 8. Oh, look at that. I might be doing this right. Peanut butter and jelly versus tomato soup.
Yeah. What did this beat out?
PB&J.
That's horrible.
Tomato soup. It's an AC.
Peanut butter is disgusting.
Wait a minute. Peanut butter's disgusting.
I'll take an almond butter and jelly. What is this like? What is this?
I mean, you can have this before games, at halftime.
I hate peanut butter. It's disgusting.
I don't need the jelly. Like, I could just go with the peanut butter sandwich or a peanut butter sandwich.
Boy, your mouth dry.
Yeah, I was going to say, you must be like,
peanut butter butter.
A whole gallon of water
What's
after
a
that.
peanut butter sandwich?
Literally peanut butter, and then you put a little butter on the bread so that you don't have the dry problem. It just slides it on down.
All right, y'all can do whatever you want to do with that. That's
I just made America.
I'm not surprised that Christine is
but
not
if you
about
said
this
a
list.
grilled cheese versus a peanut butter and jelly, I feel like that would have been a better matchup. But if you want to go with PB,
the ham and cheese is a grilled cheese with a ham sliced in.
I don't like it.
All right, so now we go down here.
I'm with you. I don't like that
It's
one.
a grilled cheese with a kick.
We can all agree that salad's not beating turkey and cheese, right?
Salad is winning.
I'm going with
Is it
salad.
chicken salad?
Have you ever had
not a
it
chicken.
says
I'm going with salad.
It's just a salad.
It says,
going with
have you-
salad.
I'm going turkey
yes.
and cheese.
Turkey
What
and
are you
cheese sounds
going, Scooby?
disgusting. It's the same thing as
Ooh,
ham
this
and
is a tough
cheese.
matchup.
Here's the thing. Let me just point
Let me
this
hear
out
her
to you.
point. Let me hear her
Because
point.
turkey and cheese, just like ham and cheese, can be a cold behind sandwich with 2 pieces of white bread, no meat or no little moisture. You don't have mustard. You don't have nothing on it. It could just be a piece of turkey.
But it could also be
and
delicious.
some American cheese.
Okay, yeah, but if you're gonna play that game, salad could be wilted old lettuce that's got that
I'd
little
rather
slime
have
on it,
that.
and like 3 shredded carrots.
I'd rather
in it.
have that.
I like
Salad wins.
I like protein.
Y'all have your little
We're not
PB&J.
definitive on salad wins here. Like,
We got salad.
you got salad. But what's Scooby doing? Is Scooby going turkey and cheese?
We gotta.
We let the booth decide
How
that. We
can
got
you go turkey and cheese and not go ham?
Rock, paper, scissors?
You're weird.
Let me
That's
see.
weird. No, I don't
I got you. How do you play? Rock, paper, scissors,
Rock,
shoot?
paper, scissors, shoot.
All right, come on.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Turkey and cheese it is. Turkey and cheese it is.
What team is this? This doesn't count.
Look,
We're
but
not on
it's
the
all
same
good
team.
because turkey and cheese is going to lose in the next.
America, you
yes, it
vote. Which one do you like more? Turkey and cheese with white bread, no cheese. I mean, no any kind of moisture.
So that leaves us with peanut butter jelly, turkey and cheese on one side, cheeseburger, chicken tendies on the other.
This side.
Wow, this is a brutal matchup. This should have been a championship.
Let me just tell you, this is a whole L. That's a brutal matchup, like you said.
Okay, so let's start with the peanut butter
Cheeseburger.
jelly, and turkey and cheese.
PB&J.
PB&J. All right, we'll go PB&J.
Peanut butter jelly time.
That is tough right there. That is tough.
Cheeseburger.
No, you can't say cheeseburger.
Chicken
though.
tendies, man.
Yeah, you can't.
Cheeseburger.
You can't just
Think
go
about how beautiful a cheeseburger can be.
Like,
Think about how beautiful
tenders are.
perfect tenders can be.
Here's let me say.
All right, let's look at those tenders.
No, hold on. Let me tell you why. Let me tell you why.
All right, go ahead.
Chicken tenders, if you get 8 chicken tenders, it's the same thing over and over
again?
and over and over again. Even if you get a barbecue sauce, honey mustard, whatever you're dipping it, it's the same thing over and over again.
I disagree. I disagree. No.
You have a burger, you have bread, you have lettuce, you have onions, you have ketchup, you have mustard.
You can tell she hasn't had any good chicken tenders before.
There's all different kind of
You haven't had any good chicken
involved.
tenders.
No, I have. I love chicken tenders.
No, you have not had any good chicken.
But I will
She said
say, you
they're all
get
the
more out of a cheeseburger than you get it. Okay, this
You're
is like
presuming
comparing.
the best of one versus the worst of the other.
No,
That's the problem.
No, but chicken tenders is each chicken tender different?
No, but every place you get chicken tenders from is different.
Yeah, but I'm saying this is one meal. We're not going. This isn't multiple meals. Yeah. One cheeseburger, one batch of chicken.
Listen, there's layers to a cheeseburger.
So you're telling me that every bite of a cheeseburger tastes different than the previous bite?
No, I'm saying that there's different layers.
There's flavors.
Different levels.
You know, yes, thank you.
Your argument makes no sense.
There's tomato, lettuce, pickle, sauce, bacon, egg.
Look,
come on.
I'm with King. I say we go chicken tenders. So now you two got to.
No, we already did ours. You two do the rock, paper, scissors.
You two are on the other side again, right?
Oh, are we?
Oh, come on, let's go.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, shoot.
Let's go.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
All right. Tendies in the final.
You suck.
Christine hates our final. She's out. She's not watching it all.
So look,
ratings are trash.
This is a 2020 bracket. This is the matchups from the last season where all the blue bloods were taking L's, all that. This is what this is. Okay.
I mean, I got chicken tenders in this one.
Chicken tenders taking it all the way.
Tenders, yeah.
I'll take chicken tenders.
Chicken tenders are our
This should have been the championship, all right? It should have been the championship.
That's the best lunch in all of America, chicken tenders. Okay.
All right, so we've stated our case here. Now, we'll show you some of the tournament favorites stating their case.
I feel like they should pick all of them because we're going to play defense every night. Defense wins championships.
Every night we take the floor, we're going to have the best player on the floor in Jabari Smith and the best rim protector in Walker Kessler.
We need to come in and be the most physical, aggressive team on that end of the floor and trust each other and all as teammates and play together. And I think we can come out successful.
I truly feel like we got the best team. We got all the pieces we need. If you want to win some money or whatever y'all doing with the brackets, I say choose Duke.
I want you to start.
All right, let's take a look at some of the action that's in play right now. We've been telling you this the entire time, Chattanooga.
Say it, 1, 2, 3, Chattanooga.
Chattanooga.
Christine is so out on that. Chattanooga's up 48-43 over Illinois right now. Again, now we got about 6.5 left in this game. This is a 13 versus a 4. This matches what we talked about all year coming into the Big Ten. Wildly inconsistent. Not inconsistent, the result we would expect here. Duke up 63-45. Not close at all. Ben Carroll right now, 17 points, 9 boards. Duke handling business as we would expect. And now looking for a second-round matchup. We'll see how that plays out. They'll either play Michigan State or Davidson, depending how the matchup later tonight plays out. And then we've also got Iowa State up 24-19. That's the 11 seed Iowa State beating the number 6 seed LSU. 24-19 right now on that one as we stand so far.
Darius Day starting to step it up. Darius Day, 6.6 rebounds.
Is that who you said was your lead scorer?
Yeah, that was the last that was leading scorer. I feel like they have no answer down low for him. But Isaiah Brockington, they might not have any answer for them on the other side.
He said he would be the leading scorer. I think it was you and me, Fitz, that said that? Or Christine? Christine might.
What'd you say?
Isaiah Brockington being the leading scorer at halftime? I
think it was you and Fitz.
No, I didn't say that.
Okay.
Yeah, it was you.
They'll show us on a graphic later, and we will quickly be reminded who is right or wrong. Now, we just had some bracket fun. And frankly, one of my biggest musical influences and one of my favorite acts of all time has been having bracket fun of their own. We're going to break that down now with one of them. Shawn Stockman from Boyz II Men going to hang out with us. And I will say, like, long before I had any sort of success in my musical career, when I was in a band that nobody ever heard of, one of the coolest groups of shows we ever did was in California. We were opening for the Backstreet Boys and Boyz II Men. And it was such a cool, like, moment for us, like, being able to hang out. I think we have Shawn. We're bringing him in. Boyz II Men's been. There he is. Boyz II Men's been doing a wild bracket. Man, we appreciate your time. Thanks for hanging out with us. Everybody in this studio has been talking about the bracket that you guys put up, and it's your songs. But, man, how do you even decide where to seed your own music?
It's tough. It's tough. Like, it's obviously you have those songs that are fan favorites because they were very popular and they did very well for us as artists and in our careers. But also, we have those songs that we personally enjoy and that we love and we felt was just as great as the songs that did well. So it's tough because all of our songs we consider our babies. So it's like, you just kind of, this was a tough bracket, just looking at it and everything. Like it's hard. And I'm a little biased when it comes to some of the songs themselves.
Well,
that's incredible.
We decided that we were going to go in and try to narrow this down. So we got ourselves from 16 to 8. So we're going to get your help going from 8 to 4. This is obviously just our version of it, but we'll start with the Elite 8 on one side. We have End of the Road versus Motown Philly. Where are you on that one, Shawn?
Ooh, boy. You got the song that started it all for us.
Ooh.
Which in Motown Philly, the song that introduced us to the entire world. If it wasn't for that song and that signature, doom 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 da da doom 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 da da, let's go. Like people wouldn't know like who we were from other groups that were currently out there at the time. That separated us. But then you have End of the Road, which basically catapulted us into global stardom. So I think I would have to go with the song that changed my life first, which is Motown Philly.
Everybody here agree with that?
Listen, I agree with whatever you say.
What you picked is wrong. We're not going to say that.
Makes total sense.
The other side of this one gets tough because you got On Bended Knee versus Water Runs Dry. And, like, I think, for me being 44 on this show, like, those two songs have such incredible meaning. Yeah, King singing it. King going for it. Like, do you?
You can go on, girl. Go on.
I thought he was going to back me up. It's fine.
No, I mean that's a tough one too because Water Runs Dry is still, and Bended Knee is one of my two favorite songs to perform live still. But as far as impact, I have to go with Bended Knee because Bended Knee is just that record that people have used not just for mending breakups, but for proposals and all that other stuff. Like it became more, I guess, personal to people, and that it kind of resonated with us too. So I would go on Bended Knee for that.
Okay.
Shawn, I have to ask a question. I've been waiting to ask this question my whole entire life. When I listen to your music, it just does something to me.
I already know what
It puts me in my feelings. We go from end of the road to can we go back to the place I love? See, it just puts you in your feelings. And I have to ask, which one of the members of the group was going through this horrific heartbreak?
Who hurt them?
Because somebody had to be feeling this music. Because if I feel it, I know whoever wrote it felt even more.
Well, it's funny. A lot of people, when we were coming up, like we were 16, 17, 18 years old, and even the songs that we wrote back then, like a lot of people would say, man, you guys have old souls, because it's like you sing about heartache and heartbreak and stuff like that, and none of y'all are 21. So it's one of those things where it's like, I guess we just connected to that type of music, because that's the type of music that we listened to as kids and that we were brought up on, and it was we just grew an affinity for it. But as far as Bended Knee was written by Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, and that song felt like the way we delivered it. I guess you could say we wrote it. You know what I'm saying? Because of how embedded we were into this message. So, but yeah, I mean, we were some sad kids, man. We were depressed.
Do you have, we'll get back to this back in a second, but with that mindset, I was lucky enough in my life to be a part of a few recordings that did well. And I know that there are spots when you have that moment in the studio and you look around, like they're playing it for you afterwards, and you're saying, holy, you know what? This is it. Like it makes your soul move. Do you have a memory of being in the studio and hearing one of your songs back and having that be like, this is it?
This might sound pretentious, but I've had many memories like that.
That's amazing.
With End of the Road, with Bended Knee, with One Sweet Day, with Doing Just Fine, with Motown Philly, with It's So Hard to Say Goodbye to Yesterday, to Water Runs Dry. Like, those songs, when we played them and we heard them, I don't know what a hit is. And don't be fooled. Neither does a record executive or a producer. Nobody knows what a hit record is. No, we don't know. We're all guessing, okay? Like, the whole hit record thing is a very pretentious statement. Oh, this is a smash. No one knows what a smash is. But you do know if a song just feels like something, when you get chill bumps when you're listening to it, something like that. Like, I've had that on multiple occasions on many of our songs. So, I can't just pick one memory, because we've had so many. And again, this might sound like I'm flexing, but it's not. Like, it's just what it is.
We've heard the music.
I got a lot of chill bumps for sure.
I used to always joke, I don't know what a hit is, but I know what a hit isn't, because every time I thought we had one, it wasn't. So, all right, let's look on the other side. So we have a little bit of a graphic error here. We have I'll Make Love to You supposed to take on Bended Knee, but we already did on Bended Knee. So we're going to do I'll Make Love to You versus It's So Hard to Say Goodbye to Yesterday. Which one for you there?
That's a tough one.
Okay. I'll Make Love to You broke a record for 14 weeks at #1, right? So a lot of people would say, oh, that's obvious, I'll Make Love to You, right? But this is where I'm giving you guys kind of like personal stories behind a lot of these songs. When we did It's So Hard to Say Goodbye to Yesterday, the current president at the time, Gerald Busby, heard the record and said, no one's going to like it. No one's going to play it.
Wow.
Radio's not going to play it. It's a cappella. There's no music. Who's going to play this song? And we was like, trust me. We were like, trust us, Gerald. People are going to like this. And it was one of our most successful records. And it was based off of, at first, people having doubt about the actual song itself. So it was almost like we kind of we had a breakthrough in how people listen to music and radio at that time, because then you had groups like Shy come with an a cappella record, and then you had another group come out with an a cappella record, and all those other, you know what I'm saying? Like, because of what the culture we created with that one song. So I'm going to say It's So Hard to Say Goodbye. That's me.
He ain't wrong, by the way. Like, again, I'll be the old man. Like, everybody was trying to sing that a cappella at the time. One Sweet Day versus a song for Mama.
Oh, my Lord.
We got it's a tough bracket that we got over here.
Bracket.
But I'm just loving all the stories. I feel like I'm in story time just listening over here. Like,
Okay. See, we have the type of songs, we're blessed to have the type of songs that match practically every occasion, good or bad. So when you have One Sweet Day, it's normally to commemorate or to pay homage to someone you lost. When you sing Mama, when you hear Mama, it's about your mother. Two very dear incidences and people that are in your life. And that's a really hard one because it's like, I got to pick one, right? So I would say, and I'm going to sound hypocritical because I just talked about I'll Make Love to You and blah, blah, blah. But I'm going to say One Sweet Day merely because this was a song that me and the guys and Mariah not only wrote on one of our days off on tour, but we wrote like within 2 hours.
Woo.
Oh, wow.
And it became at that point the longest #1 running in Billboard history at 16 weeks. So I'm gonna go with One Sweet Day.
Wow.
Okay,
2 hours.
One Sweet Day versus So Hard to Say Goodbye for a slot in the championship.
Oh. This is tough because these are two strong competitors here. But I'm going to go with It's So Hard to Say Goodbye to Yesterday. And you know why? Because now we gotta move into the cultural importance. And It's So Hard to Say Goodbye to Yesterday was not only performed by us, but you could hear that on television shows. Yeah. You can hear that in movies. And you can hear like, our rendition of it. Like, like our song. You know what I'm saying? Like in all types of cultural platforms in America and around the world. So as successful as One Sweet Day was, It's So Hard to Say Goodbye was more culturally impactful.
So then Motown Philly versus Bended Knee.
I got to go with the introduction to the change of our lives. It's Motown Philly.
Which is amazing because we end up with the championship, y'all. That feels like if you told me running in like we were going to have Motown Philly versus It's So Hard, that